All right, say it again.
Watch the last one at the bar.
Y'all subscribe to the Last Ones at the Bar boxing channel, man. We got some boxing fans out there.
Hola, soy Jolie de Medellín y estás viendo la Squad 11 de Bar, el mejor canal de boxeo. Dale me gusta y suscríbete. Y me puedes encontrar en Instagram como Jolie1026 Sánchez. Bye.
Last Ones at the Bar. Exclusively folks who love the sport of boxing.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back for another episode of Last Ones at the Bar. Again, the baddest boxing podcast out. My name is Wilton Henry, and I'm joined today by the venerable Lavelle Jackson and also the legend Ty Finney. Ty, I just once again welcome to the show. I know you fellas are extremely excited to talk about the events that took place yesterday at the Barclays Center. But before we get to that, I always want to give a little softball to you, give you an opportunity to just settle into the show. And so first and foremost, how was you fellas' weekends?
Yeah, my weekend was pretty good. Did a little bit of service work for my church. Relax a little bit too. So I'm all good, ready to start the week.
Yeah, me just laid back day as usual. And I was trying to get some work done on my car, but the place that I went to, they were already full, so I'm gonna just try to go back another day. But other than that, man, just laid back day for me. I always try to get things handled, when I'm off on the weekend. But like I said, unfortunately, I couldn't do it yesterday. So, but I get it taken care of another day. So only thing I can do is just wait or set an appointment. So.
What you trying to do? Because I know you got them 24s. You trying to get 28s now? Saying stun on real hard. Is that what you're trying to do?
Nah. I just like my air is not working right now in the car, so I'm trying to get that squared away. Cause I ain't trying to be riding in the heat, when it's real hot outside. So yeah, I'm just trying to get that situated.
Yeah, man, you ought to be sweating out there, man. You know what I'm saying? It is about to start getting muggy too. It's that time of the year. But like you said, off air, that the weather is kind of finicky right now. One day it could be real warm. The next thing you know, you got to bring out your big coat. You know what I'm saying? Like over here now, today it's about 50-ish. But before that, yesterday was pretty warm. I just came back from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Wednesday and Thursday. Well, actually Wednesday, Thursday, and I flew back Friday. Had a pretty good time out there. It was interesting. That's the Capitol right there. We were right around the corner. Like as soon as we came outside of our hotel, that's where the Capitol was. The building to the right is where we stayed, the Astor's Hotel, and it had all of the conferences and things like that. University of Wisconsin, if you take a left, is right down there as well. And so I had a really good time with some very brilliant minds, in my school district. Had a chance to, rub elbows and have good discussions with some other school district members from around the country. Your neck of the woods, Vail, out there in Michigan, you had I think it was Ann Arbor. You had Grand Rapids. It was about 3 or 4 different school districts that represented the state of Michigan, all throughout the country, though. But it was a really good event. And you had people there who really are truly trying to make a difference when it comes to more equitable practices for students of color. So had a really good time out there, but it was busy. A lot of times when you're around individuals like that, they work hard. They're really on it. They work hard, but also you have an opportunity to play hard too. But anyway, I got a couple things because I know my partner, our partner to the show, a couple of fellas might stop through, and I never want to stop somebody from expressing themselves the way that they want to express themselves. But, as long as they keep it clean. But with that being said, everybody's going to have different views. So we always want to give out this disclaimer that the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Last Ones at the Bar. In addition to that, we also want to state that all views in the videos or this video are that of the speakers. It may contain some strong language and adult content. So again, be mindful of that. Vale and Ty, I know you fellas are into music. You like lyrical prowess when it comes to hip hop. You know, you guys are aficionados, if you will. So I got my topic question of the day, and I know Vale, I think I know where you're gonna go in the direction. But what do you guys think of the latest diss song from the Six Guy, Drake?
I mean, it's cool.
Is he up too long?
I think he up, but I mean, hip hop these days is like, I don't know. Sometimes I gotta listen to Ether to remind myself of stuff.
Sound like an old fogey, sir.
I'm an old guy. I'm old folk. Yep. I'm in the wheelchair with a mic in my hand. You know what I'm saying? On the MP300, what it called?
Hip
MPC.
hop, hip hop. Okay, all right, yeah, I get it.
Hey.
Come on, man. We gotta step up our battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
What about you, Ty? You had a chance to listen to the Six Guy new track that he put out yesterday?
No, I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I do see a lot of people, talking about it. I will say this, man. I am a huge hip hop fan, man. I love the hip hop beats, like Val was saying, Nas, Jay-Z back then, 50 Cent, Jadakiss, man. I'm a huge hip hop fan, but like now I kind of fell off. Like I still love it and everything, but I listen to more of the, the old school hip hop guys. But I love Drake though. So I love all, these new artists, but like me, I'm just more of the, the mid 90s to the early 2000s, hip hop guys. So
yeah, you know why I give these guys a listen, man, because I want to see where the direction that the game is going. And I recognize the differences. I don't think, for my taste, I don't think that they would be able to compete with the guys previously, but the game has changed. And so with it changing, what I appreciate is the fact that you still have some guys who are competitive and they are speaking as if I'm the best. They come from that cloth. And that's what hip hop was always about. I'm the best MC. Nobody can mess with me. If you approach me, I'm going to bite your head off. And so I like that in these young fellas, the top two. And I'm liking it more in Drake. Drake is saying that he wants smoke. Like, just let me know how we can set it off. And I'm going to go, now you said something to me and you thinking that it's sweet, I'm going to keep coming back at you and I'm going to keep poking you. Like, come on, what's happening? Are we going to go ahead and get busy? That's what he's saying. And with the latest this, I appreciate the creativity. That's the one thing, like, typically in creativity, you looking at the wittiness in the bars. Now, he has some witty things that he says from time to time. For instance, when he went at Meek, when he was talking about, is that a world tour? Is that your girl tour? Twitter fingers or trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers, like little slick stuff like that. He's doing that now. But he also added a layer to his creativity in this one. And he took a jab at Kendrick when first off, people talking about, is that an AI track diss? And so that's been circulating now. So what he used was that approach in this song. And then on the other layer to that is that Kendrick had a song on To Kill a Butterfly where he is having a tribute to Tupac. So now that he's not responding to Drake's latest diss, he used that AI version of Tupac to show his disappointment in Kendrick. Like this, you letting this dude from Toronto, this light-skinned dude from Toronto, we passed the torch to you. You know what I mean? You the West Coast last hope. You can't let that dude do this to us. And then Snoop, who gave him a chain at the House of Blues, he's even more disappointed. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to go ahead and step up to the plate. This is you representing the coast. And then he just puts the dirt over the top of the body. You know what I'm saying? When he comes with the last verse. So I just thought it was brilliant. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Six Guy. Kendrick, man, you on the clock, brother. You on the clock. All right. Again, make sure that you go ahead and donate, man, to the cause. Also, don't be a hater all your life, man. Hit that subscribe button. We've been on 509. Somebody took us to 508. Then we back at 509. Come on, man. Our content is way better than that, man. Go ahead and don't be a hater all your life. hit that like and subscribe button. And we're gonna go ahead and get to talking this good boxing talk in a second. You know, you got to pay for that footage that I was just about to play of me hooping back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, if the first $100, I go ahead and play about a minute worth of me cooking out there on the basketball court. All right. Also, we got the shirts. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not wearing one of this. A little nippy outside. It's a little Nipsey Hustle outside. So I don't have one on today, but I'll probably have one on the next episode. You can go ahead and pause your screen if you want to go ahead and order. Send to my email address or to that 1-877 number, and we can go ahead and do business. We can make it happen, Captain. All right. Just go ahead and keep it going, man. Make sure again hit the like and subscribe. Now, let's go ahead and get to what everybody wants to talk about. I know because that was a huge upset. You know, I didn't see anybody who said that, who came on, who predicted Ryan Garcia to perform the way he performed yesterday. I thought most people thought it would probably have been the opposite. But let's go ahead and recap the fight that took place yesterday. Vela, we're going to go ahead and start with you. What were the things that you saw in that fight late last night?
I'll say that Ryan fooled me. And you know what? I'm apologizing, Ryan Garcia, because I've been hard on him. I was hard on him for a while, for a long time. Even when you was like in this corner, I was still hard on him. I would call him Ryan or Amir Khan Garcia, and then say Amir, he's not even that good. And he surprised me because you still got to look at it. I mean, now of course you always still have to ask yourself how much was those 3 pounds an issue, because that would have translated into him being probably 5 to 10 pounds heavier than Devin Haney on fight night. But neither here nor there, because Devin Haney, he said
that is here or there. Like that was
Haney could have said no. He could have said no. When we had to fight, get on that scale and make the weight, or there's no fight. He could have said that. So
yeah, like, see, that's what I'm saying. Like now you starting to get me angry now with saying that, because that sounds, when you got somebody, I think in that situation, you probably should show a little bit more empathy for somebody who's really trying to do the right thing. And for you, like, so you can have a fight that you see live that night, as opposed to just being disappointed. He actually was professional and decided to go ahead and take the fight. He was obviously at a disadvantage. The guy was bigger than him. Yeah. So again, I just
like here with the weight, whatever. But still, the fight came out.
I'm gonna let you cook. Okay. Just let me say one point. I think that's admirable. Like, that's something that you have to tip your hat off to Devin Haney. He didn't do the flip side of it, what Tank Davis did, and he drained a dude. So you don't know if the outcome would have been different in that fight had he not been drained the extra weight. But in this situation, he let the man be the best he possibly can be. He allowed him to have to not be, be at a disadvantage in any way, shape possible. Only how he would have been at a disadvantage if he wasn't training, but it looked like he was training based on his physique. So he gave him the best opportunity possible to see if you can beat me. And you don't have an excuse. And I don't see him using that as an excuse himself. I'm just saying you got to, tip your hat to the young man for trying to do things the right way.
Yeah, but let me get the show of grace from that. I got to start off with the fight. So Ryan came out very, very aggressive, and Haney Ryan is a one-trick pony as far as that left hand, but that's the only trick he really needed, because Devin couldn't really defend from that, and he tried, because you would see his right hand up to his chin, but whenever he would make certain mistakes, Ryan would catch him with that left hook, and every time he caught him with that left hook, he would hurt him. So he did hurt him, and I think it was early in the fight. I
wasn't thinking it was the first round, like the first minute he hurt him.
First minute. So the thing that I give Haney props with is that, and even after he was hurt, I was like, okay, Haney is going to turn the tide, and he's going to eventually win this fight, and he did that. So when people say that stuff like Ryan Garcia destroyed Haney, they didn't take into account that up until about round 7, Haney was winning the fight. Haney pretty much fell into the rhythm. But what Haney didn't do, I think he was so wary of that left hook or something that he wouldn't let his hands go as much as he could have and put the hurt on Ryan Garcia as much as he should have. Then Ryan Garcia would, whenever Haney was about to let off in the corner, Ryan Garcia would turn his back to him, and partly that's the ref's fault. The ref wouldn't do anything about it, and the ref was just too much. Was Harry Doc or Howard Doc? He was too involved in this fight. He was too breaking the guys up when he wouldn't let them work. So it made it an ugly fight up until round 7, where Garcia pretty much dropped Devin Haney. He caught him with the left hook and dropped him. And that's when the fight, the tie really, really turned, because up until then I had Devin Haney really, outside the first round, he was sweeping with some of those rounds to me. But after that second, and it was weird too, because they were talking to Bill at this right before he got dropped. And Bill's like, yeah, he's doing well. I just didn't see it happening. So Haney got hurt in the 7th round. Then Ryan Garcia put him down again in a 10th round. I think it was the 10th or 11th round. I think he put him out in both rounds, the 10th and the 11th round. So pretty much Haney was hurt 4 times in this fight. So I think by the end, it was just like, and I think Ryan could have got Haney out of there in the 7th round, really, but the ref was still kind of just messing up and making it a sloppy fight. But Haney really toughed his way through it. But actually, I scored it a draw. I scored it 112 to 112. Because a lot of those early rounds that Haney was just winning, but I don't have no issue with Garcia, winning it, because had he not gotten the nod, you would have all the casuals who don't know how to score fights saying that he got robbed. And it is hard to, for somebody to get knocked down 3 times to win a fight. So it was a very entertaining fight. My hat's off to Ryan Garcia, even to Devin Haney, because he didn't have to take this fight. And it's interesting even going forward, because really I think these guys should rematch. And I think because Ryan Garcia is so much of a wild card, that's what still makes it interesting, where you don't necessarily know if he's going to even do the same thing to Devin Haney. And in Haney's case, his stock does drop. But it's a good thing that it was better Ryan Garcia being there than somebody like Tank Davis. So Ty, what'd you say?
Man, my thoughts, man, it was an entertaining fight. Like I said, I didn't have my full attention on it because I was live for it. But like from what I've seen, I was wrong in my prediction. I would say that I had Devin Haney, outboxing Ryan Garcia, to a late stoppage or decision. But like Ryan Garcia, him and Devin Haney like pretty much threw a shot at the same time. Like Ryan countered him, and from that point, we seen that Haney was hurt very early in the first round. But Haney, he kept his composure, and I had Haney, winning the fight until Ryan Garcia ended up getting another knockdown, and I still had Haney, winning on the scorecards. But once that 3rd knockdown came, I was like, "There's no way that Devin Haney can win this, especially with 3 knockdowns." But yeah, we knew going into this fight that Ryan Garcia had crazy power, and we know Haney can't really hurt anybody like that, and we know that Devin Haney was chinny. So, and you fighting a guy with crazy power like Ryan Garcia, and what happened, like once Ryan Garcia was landing those big shots, in the later rounds, Devin Haney he was on spaghetti legs, and you could see the way he was holding on Ryan. He was falling forward, like he was definitely on shaky legs. So like, I'm happy for Ryan Garcia, man. He fooled us a lot. He didn't win the title, but I'm happy. I'm happy he got the victory. Devin Haney, like to me, he was that guy. He was the guy taking on all the challenges. Like I put him in the top. Between him, Tank, Shakur, he was that guy that was taking on all the challenges. But Ryan Garcia, he definitely changed that. So of course, Ryan Garcia was definitely familiar with him. You know, they fought, you know, a handful of times in the amateurs, but you know, we seen Devin Haney, you know, he was just on shaky legs and he just couldn't recover. So like my hats off to, you know, Ryan Garcia and hats off to Devin Haney. You know, he fought until the end. And you know, Harvey Dot, I salute Harvey Dot, even though he was doing some crazy things in the fight. I salute him because Harvey Dot is the type of referee that stops fights early and stops fights, you know, like after the guy's seriously hurt. But you know, he let it go on, you know, all the way to the 12th round. So, you know, hats off to everybody involved. You know, Ryan Garcia came out victorious. So salute to him and salute to his team.
Yeah, damn all that, man. These dudes, shut them. I got you in a second. But shout out to my man Sheldon. He didn't arrive, but I'm gonna say a few things real quick. And I'm gonna get your take, show. Now with this one, the first thing. So I came in yesterday. I was at my spot and I was moving and grooving, and I got to talking to this lady. So I was watching the Go. It's a sad day yesterday for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching Go James. You know, I felt like they had a nice little 10-point lead. I thought the referees started doing them dirty. And then next thing you know, Denver got on a roll and they couldn't come back. You know, it just every time they get close, then Denver pull away. So you had that going on. Then I started talking to the little lady right there for a minute. Next thing I know, you know, the time is just elapsing. It's 10:45. I'm like, okay, sweetheart, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the spot, you know, because I'm trying to catch this fight. Text you and Ty, you was like, well, they got one more fight. And I'm like, dang, man, this stuff is late as I don't know what I'm already. I done tied one on pretty good. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, one more fight. I get on the couch. I wake up, 7th round. And then they saying that Devin Haney had already went down. But when I'm looking at the scorecard, it's like, dang, Devin Haney got a real substantial lead. So as I'm watching the fight, every time I look up, Ryan is catching him with that left. Now, I replayed the fight later on. So now, going back to what I saw when I replayed the fight. For one, Devin, this was, see, y'all gonna say something when I say this. This was, he looked kind of like in a little daze before the fight. Like when they shook gloves, if you take a look at it again, he didn't look like the same Devin Haney that I was seeing before. Now I look, and they were saying that he was having trouble or he looked bad at the weigh-in. That's what some people were saying as I look. And I'm gonna show that as I speak. Right, you got yeah, they got the running back sort of thing. I'll get to that in a second. I didn't put that on here, but they were saying that he looked bad at the weigh-in, right? What I noticed out the gate, you can tell that these dudes are comfortable. Ryan Garcia is comfortable fighting Devin Haney. It don't look like Devin Haney is as comfortable fighting Ryan Garcia as Ryan Garcia is comfortable fighting Devin Haney because of that familiarity that they had in the amateurs. He always is going to be trouble for Devin Haney because of that left hook. Devin Haney, he did the same thing to Devin Haney, what they said that happened when they first fought. And he came at him, and then Devin, for some reason, he just doesn't look comfortable. Like when he was coming at him early, and then he was like, he caught him. What Ryan did beautifully was he threw like a jab, but when he's throwing a jab, he can counter like real quick off that jab with the left hook. And that's what was catching Devin Haney. So he'll be jabbing and think he out the way. The next thing you know, that left hand will come, and then he had him out the gate. He had him kind of like tipsy a little bit as far as his legs. Recover, and like you said, as I watched the fight, it seemed like he was getting more and more into the fight, and then it happened again. 7th round, 10th round, 11th round, where he got dropped. And in some of those, sometimes when he got dropped, that 7th round, Harvey Doc, whatever his name is, really saved him, you know, because he was allowing him to hold excessively. He also took a point away from Ryan. Ryan's just trying to get to the dude because he's trying to hold him so much. But anyway, you have that dynamic. I also thought Devin Haney could have fought a smarter fight. You know, don't go into this fight being that upset and wanting to exchange with Ryan Garcia because you really giving him the best shot at defeating you. I don't think Ryan Garcia, if he played his cards right, got where he was like the 6th round, 7th round, and kind of befuddle him a little bit more and run him into something, he would have been better off if that's what he was trying to do. But don't, because sometimes in those exchanges, he was just like right there flailing, and then Ryan Garcia just, it's like somebody who got a little pistol against somebody who got like a bazooka. It's like, yeah, you can hit him with your stuff, but if he hit you, the bazooka may not be as accurate, but if that thing touch you, then you're gonna really be in bad shape. And that's where he kept fighting fire with his little fire, and he could have just took a different technical approach. I think a fight that they have moving forward, he won't be so prideful, and he won't be so his ego won't be like it is, because Ryan played the heck out of him with all of the antics and things like that. Some of the things that he was saying, he got underneath his skin, and he had him fighting a fight that he shouldn't have been fighting. Now, the last few things I'm gonna touch on is the hand notes, man. So I put on here Garcia power was tremendous as he dropped Haney 3 times. I landed him 2-1 in power shots. So that's why I thought that he won the fight. But at first I thought, I'm like, how is this fight even close? Because every time I'm watching from 7th round to the end, he was cooking. And it was bad too when Ryan Garcia, I think Devin may have won the 12th round. It was even because Ryan wasn't doing that much. But to see him taunting him, to see him clowning him and stuff like that, I know that was irking Devin Haney based on their previous history. I also said Garcia landed 41% of his power shots. Who does that against Devin Haney? Haney's previous 10 opponents landed 25%. Haney landed just 7 of 18 punches per round after landing 13 out of 42 in his previous 10 fights. So Ryan Garcia posed a huge challenge to him. The last few things I'm gonna say, man. Here's the punch stats, right? If you look, you want to look and see at the bottom, you see Devin Haney, 87 out of 214. He also, you got Ryan Garcia, 45 out of 120. So altogether, 95 out of 231. And Haney, I mean, it was, I don't know, I'm bugging, man. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this, is that Ryan Garcia, he's definitely trouble for Devin Haney. Anytime that they fight, it's always danger is going to lurk for Devin, because that left hook, the way their heights are, Devin's, his arms are longer, but Ryan Garcia, he can't sit, like he always has to be. And I thought that that's what Devin was good at, was that he had the mental capacity to work his game plan throughout the course of a fight without, having any lulls or without, having any lapses. But he had way too many lapses. He had a lapse right in the first minute, and then he kept catching him with the same trick. So that's always gonna be trouble. But I'm gonna tell you this right here. I was high on Ryan Garcia until his antics, the Tank Davis fight. I still never really fully blamed him in terms of the outcome of the Tank fight because of the weight clause. But when I saw him afterwards, I didn't like how he looked in his fight afterwards, his bounce back fight. That shoulder roll, I'm like, somebody gonna knock his head off with that shoulder roll that he's doing when he's turning his back. If the referee's gonna let him get away with it, it might work. I don't know. Somebody with some power might come over there and clock him in the back of the head, and that's because that's the only thing he really giving you. And if they let it go like that, then that's how you're gonna get clipped. You're gonna get hurt like that. But anyway, but Ryan Garcia, if he works on a few other things, he has to have some type of other defensive mechanism outside of that weak shoulder roll. He's gonna be trouble for a lot of them dudes, because that left hook, that left hook is that's a blessing right there. That's like something that's special. Like that really is. So any of those guys that he's facing, he's gonna keep them at bay to a certain degree, because they're gonna feel the effects of it if it whistles past them. So they're not gonna be as aggressive. I can see Ryan Garcia going to 147 eventually. And then the last thing I'm gonna say is this. So that's for Ryan. And what's next? I don't know. I think that he should give Devin a rematch, because right now I think they're 7-7 right now. Because I give Devin the win at the weigh-in when he slapped the hell out of him. So that's one up for Devin, and then you had his fight. So it's 7-7. The weight was an issue. Shout out to Devin Haney for allowing the man to come in, and he was compensated for it, but Ryan Garcia was comfortable going into that fight. So you can't weigh this and say, well, Tank did this to him. because you got two totally different versions of Ryan Garcia. You got a healthy Ryan Garcia at his, strongest that he can possibly be, versus a weak Ryan Garcia who couldn't add on any pounds. That's that weak stuff that Tank Davis put on him. I would like to see those two fight against each other at an even playing field. I like to see Ryan against all those guys. Like I said, I was high on him until he started doing this nut stuff that he's been doing recently. Because you remember, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen in these fights with Ryan Garcia, because I know that left hand is something special. And he got a special effect that, even though you might prepare for it, but how can you prepare for something nobody else can do right now, currently? That's very reminiscent of Oscar De La Hoya. I used to see Oscar De La Hoya clip dudes and, wobble him every time he touches, touch him with that. So I talked about that. Haney wants to run it back. I think Haney probably needs an interim fight or something, like take a little bit of time off, because he was really busted up, in that fight. Also, he still has his belt, so that might be a good fight for him to come back against a Sandor Martin who doesn't crack that heavy. He's tricky, but I think that would be more up his alley to get a nice defense in, to get his confidence, and then move forward after that. But check this out. This is what I like about Ryan Garcia, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say for real. I think this is all bad. I think Boots will beat the heck out of Ryan Garcia, but I like the ambition. Remember back in 2020, it was January 2nd. He came out after that fight. He said, I want Tank Davis. And everybody's like, man, this dude is crazy. But that's that ambition. You want that. Ryan Garcia is good for boxing minus the antics. Like if he just kept it where the stuff that he was talking about before, when he just wanted to fight all of the better guys, and he kept it at that, as opposed to the little nut stuff that he does, he's good because he's energetic. He gets eyes on the sport. He's going after, he's very ambitious in terms of who he's going after. I want this guy. I want Teofimo Lopez. I want this guy. If he can just stick to the script and not jump around everywhere. Okay, I want Teofimo. Then he's about to start to fight Teofimo Lopez. And next thing you know, he's trying to fight this person over here. If he stopped doing all that, but he keeps saying I have ADHD. And I think he's real when he says that, but he needs a better team around him to kind of harness his thoughts and guide him in a better direction. But I like the kid. Shout out to him for his victory. Shout out to him for his ambition and working his plan. Like some people said that he was crazy, and some people saying, no, he's crazy like a fox. And then also shout out to Devin for being a stand-up fighter. I just think that this is going to be a lesson for him moving forward to not let his ego get the best of him going into a major fight like this. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my guy, Shelton. Shelton, what were some of the things that you saw yesterday, good brother, and welcome to the show.
Thank you, fellas. Appreciate you.
No
Devin Haney. My opinion doesn't change too much on Ryan Garcia. He still has terrible footwork. He fought in spurts. He's not, great at boxing. He's good fighter though. He's a better fighter than he is a boxer. He has power. So my opinion doesn't really change on him. I still don't think he's very good. I think guys like Matias, Gary Antoine, those type of guys will give him all kinds of issues because those guys are a lot tougher than Devin Haney. Devin Haney can't crack an egg, and Devin Haney can't take a punch. A good shot. He can take shots from guys, but not good shots from guys who got pop. That's proven now. Devin Haney's ring IQ is not what I thought it was, because he was blitzed in the first round, got tagged, and made no adjustment. He kept trying to stalk this guy, walk this guy down. He wasn't using footwork. He wasn't using angles. This guy frustrated him. He was supposed to frustrate Ryan, and Ryan frustrated him. So my opinion has changed a lot on Devin Haney. Devin Haney, if he has some resistance from anybody, there's going to be issues. If he can't just completely outbox and outmaneuver you, he can't outfight anyone, especially a Matias. Guys like that are all wrong for him because they got pop and they're relentless. So it's not that It's not that Devin Haney's not a good fighter. He is. It's just that guys with power, guys who are tenacious, guys who have who are relentless, who are going to keep coming at him, are going to give him issues because number one, I'll say again, he can't crack an egg, and number two, he can't take a punch, and that's proven. Now, I heard you talking about the weight. We can't use the weight as an excuse because it was negotiated between the two before the fight that if he comes in over, I would still take the fight, and this is what I would be compensated. So you had the idea this dude probably wasn't going to make the weight, but you took the fight anyway. Because you had the option to say, no, I don't want this fight. He missed weight. That's it. I'll fight Barbosa. But you didn't do that. Shout out to you. You're a stand-up guy. You took the fight. But this guy's all wrong for you. Any fighter with any real pop at 140 is all wrong for you. I think maybe cutting the weight. I think Devin Haney's probably cutting too much weight. He probably needs to move up to 47. Stop cutting all this weight because cutting weight has a lot to do with your punch resistance. I think Devin's cutting too much weight. I think he needs to go ahead and move up to 47. Stop trying to have a size advantage over these guys you're fighting and just fight at your natural weight. But yeah, my opinion hasn't changed too much on Ryan. Ryan's still an okay fighter. I don't think he beats any of the top punchers up there at 40. But my opinion has changed on Devin Haney. I thought Devin Haney had learned and gotten tougher since the Linares and the Lomachenko fights. But nah, Devin Haney can't crack an egg, and Devin Haney can't take a punch. That's just what it is.
Well, here's a couple of things that you mentioned that I definitely want to make sure that I'm clear with what it is I'm saying. I never said that weight was an excuse, but weight did play a factor. And that's two different things. I'm not saying you can use that as an excuse if you got in a ring. Just like I said, you have guys in the past who may have gotten in the ring compromised, but once you step in the ring, it's not an excuse. But I'm not going to sit here and not acknowledge what it is that I see. And I thought I saw stronger Ryan Garcia in that fight as opposed to Ryan Garcia, who looked flimsy to me against Tank Davis. So that I'm just pointing that out. As far as an excuse, no, it's not an excuse. You were in the ring with the man. You got in the ring. You made that decision. You live with your decision. And moving forward, hopefully for you, if he's going to go ahead and play that role and come in the way he wants to come in, you do the same thing, sir. Now, also, I don't know if this tells me as much about Devin. I don't want to just use this fight right here and for me personally, just make blanket statements about each guy, because I think this, Devin, when you are going against somebody, I know as an athlete, there used to be guys, I hated to go against those dudes, but they just was a bad matchup. When I played basketball, guys who were like 6'7" and long, I hated them dudes because sometimes you can get around them and they still can go ahead tip your shot. And it's like, and against most other guys, you know, you can count that bucket. I just think the way they match up, the familiarity with these guys, it's a mental block there when he faces Ryan Garcia. He's always going to have doubts to a certain degree because Ryan Garcia knows him. And when you know somebody to that degree, it's like, I'm always waiting for that. I know where they fought 6 times. So I can't look and say that if he fights Matias, that Matias is going to know those areas that he's susceptible and have the same trick that Ryan has, that one thing that he is susceptible to. I don't know if Matias presents that. I thought that Prograis was going to be a bad matchup to a certain degree because at the time, Devin Haney showed a susceptibility to left-handed fighters. I always seen him getting clocked and cracked by Loma. I saw him getting clocked and cracked by that little chubby dude that he was fighting, the little Mexican dude that he was fighting. So I'm like, you fighting against Regis? He's even Jojo Diaz. So, but when I looked at the matches based on Prograis' footwork and he looked like he was a little bit past it, then that was a horrible matchup for him. So I don't know. Like Gary Antoine Russell, I like him, but for one, he's so inactive. And it's like, at some points I can see somebody with that rock'em sock'em robot style that he has. And when I saw him getting hurt against Rancis Bartholomew, I'm like, somebody else might be able to. He had to me, like with Gary Antoine Russell's, he's kind of a knockoff Aaron Pryor type fighter. But that Bartholomew fight left a lot to be desired, because I'm like, somebody might clock that dude and get him out of there because he leaves his head wide open too much. But it used to look like a method to the madness type thing, but Bartholomew was taking advantage of that, and it seemed like they gave a quick wave off to the fight. But he's been so inactive now too. As far as Matias, I don't know, his footwork sometimes he does wrong things with his feet. When I look at him and some of the fighters that he's facing, they can't take advantage of that. He looks a little like his feet is in the sand sometimes. And so I think a mover who can take him off his pivot, that they might have some success, and he may look average against those guys. I don't know. It's just they have to fight and mix it up for me to be able to make a determination. The kid Devin Haney is only 25 years old. You understand what I'm saying? He's an ambitious guy. He seems like he wants to learn, and he's been showing that. And that's what you do, man. And that's why I commend these guys for going in there facing.
What about Abdul Wahid?
Abdul Wahid. I don't know. Again, we give him so much credit for stuff. And again, how can hear what I'm saying, though, sir? How can we even compare? Because that's what I'm saying. That's where the weight thing comes in. No excuse. But I always said that Devin Haney was going to fight a better version of Ryan Garcia as far as physically he was. Because if you already got a catch weight, we fighting at 136 or whatever it is, and then on top of that, it's a catch weight to where he's going in that direction. On top of that, I can only hydrate myself 10 pounds after I'm already weakened. No, that's not the same thing, man. Like, come on. So as far as Devin and Tank, if they fight right now, Tank will win. But if you give him a little bit more time to get himself together, work on what he needs to work on, humble himself. Even though he's humble, he wasn't humble in this fight. He was telling them, and his father told him about if he dies, and all that type of stuff. You're taking a wrong approach, because that's not who you are as a fighter. You got to rely on your strengths. See, Mayweather would never do nothing like that. Like, give somebody an advantage, but Mayweather was way more advanced and sharper and had more skill and things like that. But he's not going to give you an opportunity to beat him. He's not going to do it. And that's where he failed, in that moment. I'm hoping he'll take this, he'll learn from it, and become a better Devin the Dream Haney as a result. And I think he can, but he's always not going to have that much power. But we've had guys in the past who didn't have much power, but as long as you have enough to keep somebody in their tracks, then you're good. Anything else you guys have?
And that's my issue. And that's my issue with a guy like Matias. Because what we've seen from Matias, I'm not talking about what we think or what we heard about or what we've seen is that if you can't hurt this guy and back this guy up and get him off you, it's going to be a long day for you or a short one.
Against who, though?
Devin Haney, to me, he couldn't get Loma off of him. He couldn't get Linares off of him. He damn sure last night couldn't get Ryan off of him.
But Shelton, those guys you just mentioned, those three fighters, all have what Will alluded to. They all have
pop.
No, fast feet. At least, even if it's wrong, like Garcia might have the wrong feet, but his feet is still fast. Like, he can move. Matisse doesn't have fast feet. Just like Regis Prograis can move, but his feet wasn't really, really fast, though.
Right, but the difference with Regis is Regis don't throw a lot of shots. Matias is relentless. He's going to throw a bunch of shots, short shots. He's going to walk you down, get you in the corner, and throw short, compact shots that get you up out of there. Am I right or wrong?
I guess who he's been facing. You know what I mean? Like, the fighters that he's been facing is right there. I haven't seen him fight somebody who can move, who got a little bit of a slickness to him. I haven't seen him face that type of puzzle until I see it.
I get that, but let me ask you a question. Now, you rewatched the fight after you woke up, right?
I rewatched the fight. I studied it. I took notes. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so now in the fight, Was Devin trying to stalk Ryan or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, you talking about in the fight?
Yeah, he was trying to walk him down.
He was pressuring him a lot, walking him
And
down.
he kept walking in the shots, right?
But then, no, I wouldn't say that. Garcia would keep holding it up in the corner and turning his back, and I think that was frustrating Haney because he couldn't really. Already, Haney was a little apprehensive of getting caught. You know what I'm saying, or coming in and getting caught.
But so, there's an answer to that. If he shut it up and turned his back, you step to the side and crack him when he's open. He's got to turn back around unless he's gonna stick his head through the ropes, right?
But here's the thing: if Devin Haney, however he fought Ryan Garcia, I can't say that he's gonna fight Matias the same way. So,
but see, that's the difference. But that's the difference with a Matias type guy. Matias is gonna make you fight. He's not gonna allow you to move and do all this stuff. He doesn't allow that. He's gonna step to you, get in your chest, and make you fight. That's what he does. He's just like Viterbia. He's gonna step to you, get in your chest, and make you fight, or you're gonna get hurt.
Right. So I think again, I can't take one loss, and that's the reason why. See, all of these, I can't just, for lack of a better word, take a dump on these guys after one loss. This is what you want them to do. You want them to brush up against all of the stiffest competition that they possibly can, fight different styles and things like that, so you can really see the full picture of who these guys are. And so just by looking at this, if I was to do that after Matias got his ass whooped by whoever it is that beat him, then I'd be saying that he can't beat anybody. But
and then he comes right back 9 months later and knocks the guy out in 4 rounds.
And who was the guy he lost to?
There's some Russian guy. I watched both of the fights. He beat Matias on a split decision the first fight. Matias comes back the second fight and knocks him out in 4 rounds. Gets him out of there.
Exactly.
So here's the thing. This is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. This is all I'm saying.
Russian guy. So he's fighting against some Russian guy that he can lose to, come back and beat him, and then that just wipes away the loss.
But that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is guys who pressure Haney that can take a shot and have pop will always give him trouble because he doesn't have power. He can't get these guys off of him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Haney's not a good fighter. I'm not saying Haney can't beat some guys. But this style, when Loma pressured him, he had problems. When Linares pressured him, he had problems. When Jojo Diaz presses him, he had problems. And guys who can press him that have pop are going to always give him problems. That's all I'm saying.
And that's all I'm saying is this, is that you're talking about a guy who's an undisputed lightweight champion. You have a guy who moved up to 140, the Regis program. You have you talk about him having trouble against Lomachenko. I remember when we first started this, Lavelle, I could have sworn you had Lomachenko number 5 all time as far as your left-handers at that particular moment. So not to say that that was right or that was wrong, but you thought that highly of Lomachenko. And so for us to, put this Matias guy and say that he will whitewash Devin Haney just based on this performance, people will have bad nights.
Well, I don't hold Ryan Garcia that highly, and that's the problem with Devin.
Yeah, that's the problem right there, Will. That's the problem. My opinion hasn't changed on Ryan Garcia. He's still trash.
So I never thought
he just has power, and it affects Devin Haney where it doesn't affect other guys. His power affects Devin Haney. Every time he touched Haney, he wobbled Haney. Am I right or wrong? Every time he touched him, he wobbled him.
When Devin Haney was even earlier, he was saying that Ryan Garcia is a good fighter. He's tough. When they would talk about him, he said that Ryan is good. He's better than what you're thinking. I think that. So Ryan Garcia has 1 loss. One loss. At the time when he beat Luke Campbell, none of them dudes was rushing to fight Luke Campbell. You can say whatever it is that you want, but even when he see, that's what I'm saying. So when Luke Campbell was hurting Lomachenko, you know what I'm saying? Like that was big at that particular moment. Like, okay, Luke Campbell can go because he's over there like really making this fight right here difficult for Lomachenko. So in that moment, he went out there and fought. He was trying to fight Linares, but for some reason that fight didn't go through. So he took the next best thing and he took Luke Campbell. So you got to win against somebody like that. What else can the young man do? Like, okay, you look at him and say he's a one-trick pony, but that's a hellified ass trick that he has.
Oh,
And
for
he's-
sure. For sure. Just like Errol Spence. Errol Spence was a one-trick pony, but he had a hell of a trick.
No, I think he was more tricks than just that one-trick pony. He had body punches. He was, banging dudes, like breaking them down and stuff like that. I think he was had more tricks than what we say.
No,
But-
Errol Spence is a flat-footed, come-forward volume puncher. That's all he was, all he ever will be.
Errol Spence beat Porter, didn't he? Errol Spence beat Danny Garcia.
That's yeah.
What-
Those guys aren't that. I mean, Porter gave him more problems than anybody else, but Danny Garcia is not that good. Danny Garcia lost every fight he had, every big fight he had at 147. He got his ass kicked. Everyone.
So basically, you really only got like one or two good fighters in boxing. Basically,
No, I got one. No, I got one or two good fighters in that division.
Who's the one or two good fighters?
Crawford's good. Ennis is good.
How do you know
Rest of
about
those dudes are average.
How do you know who is Ennis beating?
Ennis ain't beat nobody. He ain't fought nobody.
All right, okay, that's gonna baffle me. Like, I don't. How do you know? All right, so but Matias is good, but he hasn't really beaten anybody.
He beat the dude. What's the dude from Argentina that was cracking him hitting him with everything with the kitchen sink? Got caught with an uppercut. The whole fight changed.
The dude name, man. So Ennis,
I forgot his name.
Two fights ago, he was fighting against that dude and have any power. He looked like he didn't know what to do. But
well, let's put it this way. Let's put it this way to end the whole argument. Anybody who wants to put money on Liam Perro, let me know.
Who the fuck?
I got Matias against anybody at 140, including Davis. Anybody.
He might be. I just had to see him fight somebody, sir. That's all. That's all. I just need to see him fight somebody. I don't know. I think that Whatcom is a bad matchup for Teofimo Lopez.
Who's that? Who's that?
Teofimo Lopez is quick at
that dude just ducked Murataya. He just ducked two other dudes, Barbosa and somebody else to fight Claggett. I don't want to hear nothing about that dude.
But
I don't want to hear nothing about that dude.
I've seen him beat Chico. I've seen him.
I seen Sandro Martin drop him twice. That dude, I don't want to hear nothing about that dude.
And I seen Sabril Matias lose against a Russian dude that you can't even name, but he's supposed to be.
And I seen Teofimo Lopez lose against a dude nobody ever fucking heard of.
No, we know about Kambosos.
Nobody heard of Kambosos. Yeah, stop it. Stop it, Will. Nobody knew who George Kambosos was. Nobody knew who George Kambosos was. Come on now. Come on now. Now you being facetious, bro. Nobody knew who George Kambosos was.
You talking about that he?
Nobody knew George Kambosos either.
Nah, they knew. Way more people know George Kambosos than they
did.
Now,
not before that fight.
George Kambosos was training against Manny Pacquiao and all of that type of stuff. He went over there.
You only knew about that in the build-up to the fight. You didn't know who George Kambosos was before the fight because after he beat Lomachenko, everybody was saying the same thing. Who is Kambosos?
All right, Skip it, Steve.
Come on, man. Stop it,
man. You sitting up here.
Stop it. That's not true, bro.
How can you compare Bruce Dennis to Errol Spence when he hasn't fought anybody? When he fought the dude, the dude that name starts with a C. I don't even know who that dude is. He's struggling.
You talking about Karen?
You're gonna sit up here and say
you talking about Karen? Had to spin it like a top. I remember.
But he's good
though. Boots is good.
Guys, man.
Boots is good. I think Boots is good. I don't think he's gonna beat Crawford, but them other dudes, he gonna give him hell.
All right. So anyway, we got next week. You got a double header. You got Rances Bartholomew. He's gonna be taking on Jose Ramirez. You also got my main man Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz gonna be back in action. He's got a fight against Thomas Delorme. So we're gonna start off with the prediction for this fight here. Jose Ramirez versus Francis Bartholomew. Or Rances Bartholomew. You got Jose Carlos Ramirez. He's 28-1, 18 KOs. He's 5'10", 72-inch reach. Fights out of California. Call him the Jaguar. Rances Bartholomew is 32-1, 15 KOs. One stoppage against Gary Antoine Russell. He is 38 years of age. They call him Kid Blast. He's 5'10". He also has a 72-inch reach, but 72.5-inch reach. He comes from that Cuban boxing style, hailing from Havana, Cuba, but now by way of Las Vegas, Nevada. So yeah, they'll be fighting next week. Vail, what's your thoughts, man? Who do you like in this one right here?
This is an interesting fight. I think Ramirez is gritty, grind type of fighter. The thing that's interesting is I think Barthélemy probably has the speed advantage, and Ramirez is kind of slow. You look at him, but he just keeps coming, man. He has a hard chin, tough guy. Doesn't really, set up his shots with a jab. Barthélemy, of course, he has that Cuban style. Sometimes he fights with a shoulder roll. He was actually his fight with Gary Russell. He was giving Gary Antoine Russell, that work, before Gary kind of turned the tide and stopped. When the fight was stopped, kind of, some people say that fight was stopped early, but Barthélemy was giving Russell that work, so he still got some fight left in him. So I think this is going to be an action-packed fight, but I think the power of Ramirez is going to be the difference, and I think the second half is going to take over, and Barthélemy is going to make him have to move more, and I have Ramirez winning a decision.
Yeah, for me, for this fight, I'm not highly interested in it. I was never really a fan of Francis Barthélemy. I know he is a former champion, and like Val, as you mentioned, I hope he does get some, redemption, because like that fight with Gary Antoine Russell, it was definitely stopped too early, prematurely. Like I don't know what the ref was doing in that fight, but I just never been a fan of Barthélemy, so I'll probably go with Ramirez, in this fight, probably by decision or late stoppage.
This fight's in Fresno, correct?
Let me see.
Yeah, this fight's in Fresno, I believe. It's a showcase fight for Jose Ramirez. I think 2-3 years ago, I would have picked Francis Barthélemy, but at 38 years old, I think Ramirez overwhelms him with the activity, with the power. I think Ramirez either gets a late stoppage or a unanimous decision, especially in his hometown.
Yeah, I think my boy, I don't know, was trying to get on here. That's Marky Dan. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting fight because you have two contrasting styles. So you got Ramirez, he relies on his pressure. He has some pop in his punches, but he's more of an accumulation type guy. And he also has that war mentality. Like he keeps coming, applying that pressure. And then Barthélemy, I like him because he's at his best. He shows very good skills when it comes to defense. His defensive mastery at his best is pretty high level. Gary Antoine was overwhelming him with his punches, but he fought Gary Antoine Russell better than I've seen anybody else fight him, using his experience, and just overall talent to kind of befuddle him in certain moments of that fight. So he's a defensive master. He exhibits technical brilliance. I like his strategic prowess. Unlike most Cubans, he kind of fights more like with his hands down, but he uses that to his advantage. And he's also a 2-division champ. The only thing about him is he's a little bit older now. He's getting a little bit long in the tooth. But I think that he'll still have enough in the tank to make this fight challenging for Jose Ramirez. I think that when it comes to a fight like this, I think the judges will be leaning more towards the more aggressive guy. I think Barthélemy is going to have his moments because he is a talent, but he's always in close fights, and typically he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt, especially when he's fighting against somebody near their hometown. So I would have to lean towards Jose Ramirez. If I had to bet, I would say 12-round decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a late stoppage. So I'm going to go with Jose Ramirez, 12-round unanimous decision. I think the winner probably should get Petros Ananian. That's the dude that beat the hell out of Sabril Matias. All right. Anything else we got in this fight right here about this fight? No. Yeah, Pedro's Ananian. That's who it is, Shelton. That's the one that put them paws on Sabril Matias.
But
Right, so-
did Matias fight him again and stop him?
Right.
Yeah.
But, so
I was
so
at that fight, so yeah, I was at that fight live. But yeah, like I said,
Which one when you
Matias, the
Sorry.
rematch.
Yeah, you went to the rematch. You didn't go to the first fight when he was putting them paws on. Okay.
No, I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't. I don't recall seeing the first fight, but I just know. Yeah, the rematch. The rematch was entertaining, man. Like I said, that was on the Gary Russell and Mark Massayo on the card.
No, that's cool. I was just trying to figure out when he beat Matias like he stole something. You didn't see that one, though, right?
Nah.
Oh, okay. All right. So now here it says Chris Oreo, he says taking off the weight and putting it back on is not healthy. That's true. That's all facts. Matias is a nightmare, against them bums he's been facing. That's cool. All right, he says, I agree with Shelton. Okay, Chris, let's get you the hell out of here. All right. So, I'll just Let's go and says Styles look. Oh, okay. Styles make fights. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you have that level of familiarity, you got the Mosleys and Fords. You got other people who's trained against other guys. Like Holyfield always knew he was going to be trouble for Tyson because they had some familiarity, back in the day. And then Tyson, on the flip side of that, some of the guys that he was whooping on in the pros, he had already whooped them in sparring and things of that nature. All right. Also, you got on the undercard, my boy Virgil Ortiz going to be back in action against Thomas Delorme. I think that it's safe to say, but we never know nowadays. Is it a possibility that Thomas Delorme can make an upset in this one, or when do you think that Ortiz is going to get him out of there?
Within 4 rounds. 80. If Ortiz is at 80% of health, because he's been having health issues over the years, you should get him out of there within 4 rounds. I would say round 3, he would get him out of there. Because Ortiz he was a big guy at 147, and now he's at 154. Delorme is really like a 140 type of guy, fighting at 154. So you couple that, you add that up with a guy who, in Ortiz, who all his wins are knockouts. It's not that he just got this one, he's a one-hitter quitter type of guy. It's just that he's just so heavy-handed that when he touches you, it just hurts. So that's why I say he doesn't have that snappy, like Ennis, those a shot and he'll just put your lights out. Ortiz is just more, man, he touches you, just breaks you down and it hurts. And I think, that's what's going to happen. He's going to get Delorme out of there about round 3.
Yeah, for me, I don't see, Delorme having any chance of an upset. Yes, he did catch Boots with some big shots, in that first round. Boots ate it and came on stronger. And, Virgil Ortiz, man, he's a workhorse. He's got that come forward style. He throws punches and bunches. And, and he just had, 1 round fight, in his last fight. It was stopped in the first round, and plus he's had some inactivity. So I can see him going at this thing from 2 ways. I could see him coming in there guns blazing and getting Delorme out of there early. But at the same time, he might want to shake off some of that rust and get some rounds in. So I can see him, taking it easy on Delorme, first couple of rounds and then pull on the pressure. But I mean, it all depends on what Ortiz wants to do. If he wants to come out guns blazing or shake off some ring rust. But I would like to definitely see him get some rounds in. But I think this is easy work for him. He's going to get Delorme out of there early. So that's my take on it.
So what you think, Shelton?
It's all good. I don't know if you're having some technical difficulties. So I'll go until you can get on show. It's going to be, I would say 3 rounds tops. So I'm going to go 3 rounds anticipating that he might get him out of there in 2 or possibly 4. So when we do and I'll start that back up, Vale, as far as putting the information of our predictions so we can see who's making the most correct predictions at the end of the year. So I'm gonna go with a 3rd round knockout victory for Virgil Ortiz, because I just think that Thomas Delorme, he welcomes like shootouts too much for his own good. And he can be an effective boxer. He has a nice jab, and things of that nature. But he's always down for the smoke, and that's what ended up affecting him against Boots, because he clipped Boots a couple times. It's just Boots just had the more firepower. And if he had a little bit more pop in his punches, it would have been interesting to see what would have happened. But he was clipping Boots like clean. But then as soon as he had hit him, he'd sit up there and be looking to see what damage he did. And next thing you know, Boots would hit him with something even bigger. So I see that happening in this fight. He just don't have the firepower to stand up to somebody like Virgil Ortiz, who has a two-fisted attack. He's a monster, especially if he's back healthy. So I can't see this going any longer than 4 rounds. So I'm gonna say, I'll say 3, because how our scoring system is, if I say 3 rounds and it's done in 2, then I still get 3 points if it happens in 4. So you get that 3-round window. So just to be safe, I'm gonna say Virgil Ortiz in 3 rounds. All right, so we got Shelton back in effect. What do you say, sir? Who do you like in this?
We just hoping that Ortiz don't kill Delorme. I don't see it going past 2 at the most round. I think Virgil's too big, too active. Hits too hard for a 37, 38-year-old Delorme. I don't think Delorme has a shot in this fight. I don't see it going past 3.
Yeah, but what do you fellas like to see next for Ortiz if he's able to be successful in this one?
Title shot. Title shot.
I said,
against any of those guys.
I'll say a fight against a former title holder that's a legit 154, like a Castano or somebody like that. Who's
a guy who been out 2 years?
I didn't say just Castano, like Castano, Mendoza, Mendoza, somebody that's like at that weight.
Ramos. Maybe Ramos.
Somebody at that weight.
Mendoza, I don't think Mendoza will ever be the same after the ass whooping he just took. Now that guy that whooped Mendoza, I like to see Virgil against him.
What about you, Ty?
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I know I called for Boots, but that's not going to happen right now. I mean, maybe a few more fights than Boots, but Boots is the one I want to see the most. But like far as right after, if he gets past the Delorme, not too sure. But down the road, definitely Boots.
Dude up here watching.
Oh, my bad. Let me go ahead and take that out. Yeah.
You want to do that on purpose, man.
No, he was over there putting the bars on. So I think that he probably should get maybe a top, other guy at 154 before, because Delorme is not anything that's going to prep you for any, like, no Fedora, Zoo, or anybody like that. So I think he'd probably need a tougher challenge and then start preparing for the likes of a Tim Zoo, Fedora, and even potentially Bud Crawford, if that opportunity presents itself. So let me go ahead and go back to our slides. All right. Anything else on that card that's coming up next week? You think is that on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate that card?
6.
Oh, 6.
Yeah. I would say 5. I mean, I'm excited to see Virgil Ortiz, to see him, come back like after this controversy, first round, win that he just had. But I definitely want to see him, shake off that ring rush. He's been off because the health issues, the inactivity. So I want to see him let off some rounds. But like I'll say a 5.
Yeah. I know personally, I think it's probably about a 6 or 7 under, like based on what it's doing. Because see, first and foremost, Ortiz, I think he needs just a fight underneath his belt after the health scare. So that's going to be helping him just get back into the swing of things, just to get back to normalcy when it comes to having a camp, making weight, and see how comfortable you are at in your new weight class. So that's cool. And then also for Jose Ramirez, he's been off for a year since he's faced Comey. So he needs another fight to get back into the swing of things. And he's fighting somebody who's a former 2-time world champion. He's a little older, but that's still enough of a challenge, and he's facing somebody who can be kind of tricky. So he should be able to get some rounds in and things of that nature, and then also, like I say, get that rust off. So from that standpoint, it's high for Golden Boy. You know what I mean in that regard. But as far as like viewership and what it is, I'm looking to see, I would say it's about a 7. You know, so it's good to have something going on a Saturday night. You know what I mean, that you can check out. But hopefully it don't come on as late as that fight yesterday. Like they need to cut it out, man. Getting too old for that, man.
Yeah, man. I don't think they started that fight until what was it?
It started
12,
on
15
Sunday.
or something. Yeah, it was like 12, 15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Started on Sunday. Yeah.
It was on Sunday, man. Yeah, make sure you go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button. You know what I mean? We're having some of that good dialogue today. You know what I mean? We're going back and forth. You also make sure you hit the like and sub for Ty's channel, you know, in this corner, you know, Ty Finney, you know, just go ahead and use your Googles. You'll see. All right, let's get to the boxing news, man. I don't know if you guys know, but on that Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, it has been announced that the co-main is going to be Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 2. What do you think about this matchup? And also, who do you favor? You know?
Man, so I didn't even hear about this one, but I think that's. I mean, I would rather see this on just a pure boxing card, but for the sake of it having eyes on them, it's good for Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. As far as the fight, it's interesting. I don't know because I remember Serrano. She was supposed to have a fight a month or 2 ago in her eye, and she had to buy out because of her got some chemicals in her eye. So I don't know if it's more behind that or is it not, but that's some stuff is just red flags to me. But as far as how both are not what they used to be, but if I had to put on who lost more, I think Katie Taylor may have lost more, and I would favor Serrano in the rematch, even considering how their first fight went, where Serrano really made Katie Taylor work hard, and I can't see that being easier in a rematch. So
wow.
Yeah, so I have Amanda Serrano getting that decision over Katie Taylor in the rematch.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll go with Amanda Serrano too. I just feel like sometimes Katie Taylor, she just gasses out sometimes, like but both of these ladies bring it, man. They got crazy work rate, but I just feel that Serrano would take it at the end of the day. And like I said, I'm happy she's on the on the card. No, I ain't into this Jake Paul and Tyson fight, but I'm happy that she's on the card. Considering what happened in the last fight when she couldn't fight, so I'm happy she's she don't gotta wait like another 6 months or 7 months, and she's getting right in there. So hats off to them making the fight. But I got Amanda Serrano by decision.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to go with Simply the Best, man. I'm gonna go with old Katie Taylor, old blood and guts. I just think that she's fought the stiffer opposition recently, Cameron Taylor twice. If she's able to overcome and win a rematch against Cameron Taylor, and Amanda Serrano, she wasn't fighting to me like any opponents that was like high caliber in my eyes. I don't, maybe my ignorance towards the smaller ladies in women boxing, that could play a role in how I view this. I just think that she's been fighting elite level fighters, and I think she just has one more in the tank. And so in this one right here, I think that she'll pull out all of the tricks. She has this. It's going to be a situation where she's familiar with Amanda Serrano, what she brings to the table, and she'll make her adjustments. Although she won the first fight, razor thin decision, majority decision victory, but I still think that she's going to showcase why they call her Simply the Best. So I'm going with Katie Taylor. She has an argument for being the GOAT. I don't think she is, but there is an argument. If they're going to say Caitlin Clark is a GOAT, you understand what I'm saying? That she can make the same case. You understand what I'm saying? Anything else you got on that one, man? Because that's going to be worth tuning into the card just to see that right there. And Jake Paul is doing a good job, man, of being able to market stuff because he's capturing different demographics. So now you got the ladies who are going to want to see that. You understand what I'm saying? You got Mike Tyson on the card. People just want from that nostalgic standpoint. They're gonna be viewing in for that, you know. And so he's a smart guy.
I just want to add, isn't Katie Taylor like 37 or 38 or something like that?
She up there, you know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I just felt like from when I seen her fight, she just doesn't have the best gas tank. And I think that, like I said, the way that they bring it, you know, the way Serrano brings it, I think that she'll just gas out in the later round. So like I said, that's why I'm giving it to Serrano.
Anybody else? We good? All right. I just want to say shout out to my main man, Shane Solis. He said, shout out, guys. Hurting more than expected. Also, man, public, man, I just want to say send my condolences to you and your family based on the information that you shared. My heart goes out to you, brother. You know, hang in there. All right. Let's go ahead and keep moseying on down the yellow brick road. Oh, check this out, man. I add this on there. They said the WBA elevates Edgar Berlanga to mandatory challenger for Canelo, creates a new title to light heavyweight. So let's just focus in on Edgar Berlanga becoming a mandatory challenge for old Canelo Alvarez. So I think we know who Canelo's going to fight in September. You know, it's Mexican independent.
Yeah.
What do you think about him getting elevated, though? What is this saying about the sport of boxing?
This is where it's at, man. Like it's more so WBA, you know. Of course, we will like Canelo to fight David Benavidez. See, it wasn't so bad if he just fought like, you know, went through his Jaime Munguia fight that's coming up next month, and then go into a David Benavidez fight, or even take Edgar Berlanga in like maybe July, you know, as a tune-up or something like that. But even though that's kind of close, cutting it. But this fight is just, it's like Edgar Berlanga in September. It's just about making the money, you know. So nothing more to it.
What is this new title at light heavyweight stuff? What is that?
I didn't look into that because we weren't focusing in on that. But that's part of the story. So I didn't click on there. It surprised me to see. The bigger surprise to me was the fact that Edgar Berlanga was moved up to mandatory, and I don't recall him beating anybody of note to be able to be moved up to mandatory. So that's what I looked at. I don't know. I have to click on the story.
Well, you know, Will, the envelope decides who becomes the mandatory challenger. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
You can't be naive to that fact.
No, again,
the bigger the envelope, the easier it is to move through the sanctioning body. You know that.
Right.
You know that. We all know that. We may not like to talk about it. Some of us may not even like to admit it, but that's the way it works. If you can pay him enough, you can become the #1 challenger in any sanctioning body if you got enough money.
What you think, Ty?
Yeah, I think it's simple. You know, like Berlanga, like when he first started out, he was getting all them KOs, but as he stepped up in competition, he hasn't looked so great. But yeah, for him to be, you know, elevated to that, I think it's simple.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. What they doing is they putting a fork in boxing, man. Like it's gonna be really done, because you can't keep doing this right here. And I think that they doing not only the sport a disservice, but it's really if Canelo goes through with this and he's successful against Munguia, and then he goes into a Berlanga fight, it's just tarnishing this man's legacy, man. Like he's getting to a point now, to me, you know, personally, based on, and things change, you know, if people now are, you know, accepting these type of things, these type of fights, because Berlanga, he's a little bit better than Rolly Romero to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he has a little bit more skill than Rolly Romero, but I'm saying as far as the caliber of guys that they can beat, I don't see him beating anybody in the top 10. I think they have a field day with him. And for them to like propel him over those guys, it's just, especially for a hardcore fan, that's tough to digest. You know what I mean? And so that's the disappointing piece of it. if they was doing this maybe every so often that you will see this, but this starting to become the norm. And so that's where I have a problem with that when it comes to sport of boxing. That's all I want to
Well,
focus
it's just
in.
like in any workplace. You know, sometimes it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah,
I would,
again, as far as like why and all of that type of stuff, I mean, we could go into that. I was just thinking about more so the ripple effect of this transpiring. I know that everybody understands the caliber of fighter that Berlanga is, and he did have a buzz. I'm not even so certain that buzz still exists, especially it doesn't exist the way it did before, because he isn't rolling out the knockouts. He isn't this buzz saw. And again, that's why I harken back to, you can't tell me a guy and hype this guy up and tell me that they're all of this and all of that when they're not fighting anybody. Like I just, for me, that's my rule of thumb. If you have a resume, you could struggle against those guys, but at least you fighting dudes who are top level guys. But you sitting up here looking great against somebody that we don't even know, I can't honor that, man. Like I say, you gotta bring some to get some. It's not the amount of people that you beat, but it's who you beat. You know, Berlanga get in there and he can beat John Ryder. Not right now, but I'm saying like when John Ryder was still decent, if he could beat somebody like that, then I can justify, okay, you know, he did that. He hasn't beaten anybody. You know what I mean? And even when they tried to put him up against certain guys, he struggled against them, and those were not even world beaters. So again, that's my level of frustration. That's where I was going with the conversation.
Yeah, but we've seen this before. You know, this is nothing new. We've seen all this before. They had the same narrative going against Crawford. They had the same narrative going against Larry Holmes. The same thing. He ain't beat nobody. He ain't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's why I always say we have to fight the fight. We can think what we want. We can have our opinions. We can break it down to the nuts and bolts, but we have to see the fight to find out the outcome. Anything can happen in a fight.
Right, but see again, that's not an apples to apples comparison. See, Larry Holmes and Terrence Crawford, I can't make that comparison with a guy. To me, that's different. Sometimes it's circumstances as far as who you're able to fight. It's not people there for you to fight. He has a plethora of people that he can fight. He could fight the young kid out of Minnesota from Cuba.
I hear you.
He could fight.
I hear you.
By now, he could have fought David Benavidez. By now, he could have fought Billy. You know, so it's guys that he could have fought Ryder. He could have fought Plant. He could have fought. I mean, it's just so many guys. He hasn't faced any of them. You know,
right?
So again,
right. I get it. But that's the same thing. That's what I'm saying. They were saying, you know, all the things you saying are true and actual facts for hardcore fans. But I'm just saying the narrative wasn't that. The narrative was he ain't fought nobody. Oh, this guy was past it when he fought him. Oh, he ain't fought. He ain't did nothing. This guy's fighting all the killers. Well, we found out that them guys wasn't killers. We found out after the fact, but we found out them guys wasn't what people thought they were.
I see again. I take a different approach when it comes to that, because sometimes I participated. It's a couple of things that can happen, right?
Right.
And so again, me personally, I don't look at things like a blanket statement where it's just white and black like that. So for instance, I give this example every so often. Sometimes you can have somebody who is facing all of the tough competition. You're not facing the tough competition. What you're doing is you letting him like fight those guys. You letting them get the damage. He has to go through training camp after training camp to prepare at a high level for these opponents. That's going to eventually take something out of you. For one.
Okay.
While you're doing that, facing that elite level opposition, and you taking 3-4 fights against elite, I'm taking 3-4 fights against less than stellar opposition. if our talents aren't that far apart, or I have superior talent to you, what I can simply do is while I'm fighting against these dudes who I know can't beat me, I could be preparing for you. You can't prepare for me because you fight against dudes who are too elite. Like, I got to make sure I'm on point to beat him. Where you sit up here facing these guys, it's like, okay, I'm gonna work on this. So if you come in here, I'm gonna fight this type of guy who brings certain skills that you have to the table in preparation for you. So again, that's different. And again, to me, you have to take more of a nuance, understand the intricacies of what's happening before we just throw things out there like that. For me personally.
Right. I get it.
Fellas,
my only comeback to that is, I said this building up to some of these fights. I've said this about numerous fights. If you fight the same type of guy over and over and over again, you don't learn much. But when you have to fight different styles in every fight you fight tall guys, you fight short guys, you fight guys who can punch, you fight guys who can box, you fight guys who can move, you fight guys who will come forward guys. That prepares you for any type of style you run into because you've seen it before.
Right. Vale,
when you stay in one promotion, right, and you fight the same guy over and over and over again, you tend to believe that what you're doing is elite, when in all actuality, it is not. You're just beating the same guy every time you fight.
So what are you saying, Will?
His connection might have messed up, I think.
He froze a little bit.
Okay. So what are your thoughts, Ty?
On what?
Edgar Berlanga.
Yeah, I was saying I think it's simple, man. Like I said, like when he first started out, he was getting those knockouts. He looked like a guy to look out for. But as he stepped up in competition, them knockouts weren't coming. And he even got banned for we don't know if he bit somebody or something like that. He even got banned.
He bit the guy,
He bit the guy in the arm or something like that.
Yeah, he bit the guy on the shoulder.
Yeah, so like stuff like that. So I mean, for him to be elevated and like to I think it's simple, man. It's simple.
It's a money play, and I think that it works against these guys and work for them. Like even what we saw against Demetrius Andre when it was a lot of those fights he wasn't taking, but then you can't jump from there to someone like David Benavidez and think you're gonna have a chance. And I'm not saying that he would have beaten David Benavidez, but I think it would have been he would have had a better outcome had he took those fights. I see you back, Will. What were you saying?
We back?
Yeah, you back.
Yeah, you're back, bro. You froze up a little bit.
Yeah. No, when I was leaving, you was talking about somebody fighting the same guys over and over, the same type of guys. Like who are we talking about though? Give me an example.
Oh, the example was the guy that the fight we had on July 29th of last year.
So
that's the example.
Right. But
I don't think that's a good example, but
it is a good example. Look, he fought. What's the dude's name from France? Leonard Bundu. He fought Lamont Peterson. He fought Chris Algieri.
He fought.
No, they weren't. All those dudes tried to come forward right to him. All them dudes did the same thing. He fought Danny Garcia. He fought Lil Mikey. He fought all these guys that were going to stand right in front of him.
Mikey is not really
the one time he fought a guy that could move was Porter, and they gave him all kind of issues. Then he went back to fighting guys like Danny and another who guys who go stand right in front of him. I'm not mad at it. You made the guy look like he was a world beater. And when he got in there with somebody who could actually box, move, punch on the pivot, do all these things that he wasn't accustomed to, he got dominated. So because he hadn't seen a multitude of styles, where the other guy had fought all kind of styles, coming from lightweight to junior welterweight to welterweight. He saw all kind of styles. So there was nothing Errol could do that would surprise him because he'd seen it all before.
Okay. So can I
That's the difference. Yeah, go ahead.
The only issue I have with that, see, I used to see Errol Spence quite often. when I saw Errol Spence, he had just beat this guy at can't remember. It was a theater that he fought at. It was November 28th of that year. It might have been 2015, 2016. I saw him. We had a discussion. At that moment, he wanted Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman wanted no problems with Errol Spence. I seen him again later. I said, who you got, champ, coming up? And so nobody knew, but he said he had a look on his face of disgust. But he was like, they give me Algeria. I said, okay. Now, for one, how can you, who was he supposed to fight that was going to prepare him for Crawford that was willing to face him? See, it's one thing to say that they're feeding him this person and that person, but he wants to fight all of the guys who has the belts. But they were not willing to face him. And Keith Thurman, I think we agree, he can move, but he didn't want to fight him. So how can you hold that against him and then say that that's the reason why he lost is because he's fighting the same type of guy? I don't think Algeria, I don't know anybody, if they had a description of Chris Algeria, that he's not a mover. He was a mover. He just got caught on the ropes and got pummeled. That's what happened. I don't think that I've seen my main man, Kell Brook, I've seen him do very good movement against the fighters that he was facing when he wanted to, when he needed to. He can bang a little bit too, but I think that he was more of a boxer puncher. So I don't understand, like, what's the argument that you're saying that what he did wrong in preparation for Crawford, as if he was avoiding people who can move? Who did he avoid?
No. He wasn't avoiding anybody. He was fighting the guys they put in front of him. I don't blame Errol for that. I blame his handlers and I blame his management because they kept putting him in winnable fights to make him a star, which is what you're supposed to do. But you didn't prepare him for a guy like this because this guy had been fighting all these different styles coming up through the divisions. And you can see just from the eye test that this guy was better than the other guy. You can see that because this guy makes adjustments in fight. This guy fights the same way every time he fights. So I can't accept the fact that you think that a guy who's flat-footed, who comes forward and throws a bunch of punches, is going to beat a guy who can fight going forward, fight moving backward, use lateral movement, catch you in between shots, walk you into shots that you don't see coming, and has power in both hands. It just doesn't compute to me. I don't know how it computes to anybody else. It doesn't compute to me.
But my point is this. So you think that who did he not fight that he was supposed to fight before he fought Crawford in order to be able to be successful against Crawford?
He should have fought Crawford. When he told Crawford to go get a belt, Crawford went and got a belt. He should have fought Crawford then. He would have had a better chance at beating Crawford in 17, 18, or 19 than he did in 23.
So let me ask you this. If he goes and he loses to Crawford, now I would think that Errol Spence right now, I don't know what business sense that would have made at that time, according to where both guys were.
Right.
As far as financially making a fight, because boxing is a business. So I don't know how willing that those two sides were to make that fight at that particular moment. I'm not so certain.
Agreed.
So I can't make an argument that really wasn't a reality at that particular time.
Hey, can I cook? I don't want to cut. I don't want to cut nobody off. What I think, I'm gonna compare Errol Spence and Devin Haney. I just think Spence didn't have a plan B. Like when Devin Haney was clipped by Linares, that happened at the end of the round. So he had time to recover. Now, when he fought Ryan Garcia, he was clipped earlier. So he was on shaky legs. He probably I think he kept his composure, but his legs were just so bad. So I just feel those guys did not have a plan B. And Devin Haney, he had some guys in his camp that he really should have had in this camp when he fought Ryan Garcia. He didn't have those guys. I don't want to mention any names. He didn't have certain guys in his camp. And I think that he needs to maybe get rid of Bill Haney. But I think those guys just not have a plan B. Like we seen Errol Spence seriously hurt in the Crawford fight. We seen Devin Haney seriously hurt against Ryan Garcia. Those guys just did not have a plan B. So that's just my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're going with that. I'm just, what happened on July 29th happened. But as far as like blaming anything on anybody prior to the fight happening, I think is other things you can look at as opposed to what we're talking about now. I don't think that it just, we can like have, like they say, hindsight is 2020, but I don't see those things as being like a major factor in determining what was going to happen that day. I don't even know why we're having a conversation about this. It's nothing we're supposed to be talking about. But anyway, Shane, man, good welcome to the show, man. Good brother. We love to have you here today, man. As always, you got Shane Solis. And again, I just want to give you the floor to discuss whatever it is that you want to talk about. If you want to go into the fights, I've got the slide up here for you, good brother, because I was anticipating your arrival. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I appreciate it. Obviously, I'm not good, but you know, I'm surviving. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I got my jergens in, you know what I'm saying, in honor of my boy King Ryan. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty happy with him. Now honestly, he had me a little worried, he had me a little scared. He pulled it off, you know. I really, just with some things that happened, you know, I kind of wanted to touch the floor a little bit more on like the mental health aspect of what was going on with him, because from my own personal experience and just what I've seen from him, this sort of erratic behavior is something that does happen when when you have like catastrophic things happen. A few of you know, I done shared the story of what's happened with my nephew here as of late and everything, you know, and I just want to say, if anything Ryan said was real, hopefully, he has some good people in his camp and everything, because that's very important. Other than that, you know, I got an invite the other day, you know, and I just wanted to drop the news, if I ain't dropped the news, that I got this invite to go down there and meet Floyd Mayweather. If there's any way I can get him to mention either one of these shows, I'm going to. And I just want to say I love you guys, and I appreciate y'all letting me be a part of the show.
Yes, sir, man. Keep your head up, man. And yeah, it's not easy out here. You know, we all have our points at times where we, you know, if you're a human being, you've dealt with mental illnesses in one way or another, whether you choose to acknowledge and address it or not. So I'm not immune to it. I've seen it and I've dealt with it personally myself. Even when I look like I'm okay, it can be a lot going on. So much love to you.
Much love to you, Shane. And then also, I mean, you can touch on whatever it is that you want to touch on. The floor is yours. But I did want to get your analysis of what you saw yesterday with the Ryan fight. Like, obviously, I know you were impressed with them, but what was your big takeaways from the fight? And then the other question that I have, in addition to that, is what do you want to see next from both guys?
Ooh, the first thing, more than anything, I hope people will call the spade here and say Devin is still as good as we thought he was. Ryan is just better than we thought he was. Because that's the reality. Like I think a lot of people, you know, I've seen people already doing it, tearing Devin down, man. I've never seen somebody work so hard as I saw Devin Haney work in this training camp, from what we can tell, you know, and he looked way more prepared. I think from an analysis standpoint, if you go back and look at what Tank said that he thought might happen, it pretty much is on point with what happened.
Right.
I think Ryan has some gifts there, and the reason this has went back and forth the way it has, honestly, I thought Devin had just gotten to be too good of a fighter by this point, and
Right.
Ryan probably hadn't, developed enough, but I was wrong. He still has that blinding speed and that power, and that's what shined in this fight. I mean, he got overwhelmed in that first round once, and I think that that probably took the whole fight away from him. I don't think he was. When you fight in amateurs, you got headgear, and it's a lot of different variables, and I think the power was more than he thought, and I think it was a good thing for Ryan to come in 3 pounds heavier, because I think in his mind that was like, I'm not going to deplete myself at all for this fight.
Really, the Tank fight helped him. I think, man, you ain't gonna put me in no situation like that. Matter of fact, I'll take the fine, before I compromise myself as far as coming into the ring at 100 as close to 100% as possible.
Exactly.
In addition to what you're saying, and I appreciate your breakdown, man, because I think people don't understand this enough. Sometimes I don't care, man. Like I don't care when these dudes fight, Manny Pacquiao and Marquez, it's always gonna be tough. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. They're gonna be 90 years old. You put them dudes and they get to fight each other, that's gonna be a tough fight. You put Shane Mosley against Vernon Forrest, if he was still alive, they always gonna have tough fights because that's just that matchup, the body rhythms and everything. What this guy brings to the table is going to be very difficult for this guy. It's going to be a challenge for this guy, so on and so forth. So it's always going to be tough. You don't have no 3-3 in the amateurs without there being like a close, like them two. I'm not saying Devin Haney might could beat way more people than Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
But when they fight each other, then it's just the way it is. You can have the Cleveland Browns that had the best team. They might always have trouble against the Cincinnati Bengals. For whatever reason, it could be the fact that their style, the way that they run their plays, and then their system always going to be able to be tough for them. You're going to have that, man. And I don't think that people give that enough credit.
Almost like let's say like a De La Hoya versus Mayorga type of thing or something. Yeah, it could go either way. I really feel like that first round set the tone more than anything, maybe more for Ryan than Devin. Maybe it gave, because Devin fought like a warrior the whole fight. Maybe it gave Ryan the confidence that he needed. He really needed something like big to happen early on, and he got it there, and with his speed and his power, he's a dangerous fight for anybody. I mean, that's just a fact. I think there's people that can, like, obviously Tank has, that could expose him a little bit more, but that's mostly because Tank has the power to put him down. I don't think that the only thing that I've seen that surprised anyone was how dominant Ryan was at points. Like, I expected if Ryan won this fight at all, it'd be by knockout. I expected that even if he put him down, Devin would outpoint him so much that he would still get the decision, and that didn't happen.
Yeah. Before I get where these guys should go, you know what, Ryan, where he was sly as a fox is that so Devin wanted to fight so bad that he was that confident, and Ryan was doing things where people were so concerned that he wasn't going to show up. So if I'm concerned that you're not going to show up, or it's possible that you might not show up, I might give you things that I wouldn't give you if you appear to be like on point. So for instance, he may have taken an approach like, I don't want to have to fight no dang on Barbosa because it's not going to really sell like that. Only reason I'm fighting Ryan is because I want his name on my resume because of the fact that he brings a lot of attention to what it is I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to get his fan base. So when he's looking like he's out there partying and drinking and smoking and doing that sort of thing, acting real zany, it's like you do anything that you can to make sure that he shows up. So if he comes in overweight, it's like, no, it's not the fight gonna get canceled. It's the fact that, you know, you have to pay me more. Yeah. But I think like if it was a serious, like if he thought that like Ryan was on point, serious, and that there was no way that he wasn't gonna show up, I'm not certain that they would have played it out like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway, last thing is as far as the fight, what do you think they should go from here?
I think Ryan's got a lot of avenues, for sure. I don't think he should fight Tank next. Because I know that might get mentioned. I don't think he should fight Tank next. Pitbull Cruz would be interesting for him. Right. I think. Obviously, Romero's out. He could really fight anybody. I think he's an even bigger draw now than he was before, because now he's legitimized himself. So you know, I don't feel like Ryan had necessarily legitimized himself to boxing fans before. Now he's legitimized himself to boxing fans as well as his audience, and so he can pretty much fight anybody. It's interesting. Pitbull Cruz would be the one I'd want to see the most. For Devin, he really looked kind of drained from the weight cut too. So I would, if I could pick a fight for him, I would actually like to see him fight Lomachenko again. But he looked so drained from the weight cut. I don't know. I don't really have anybody in mind right now. It would be,
if I was him, I would attempt to get Ryan Garcia at 144, 145 or something like that. Like fight a catchweight fight like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it. And I think Ryan's game to take it. To be honest,
I think Ryan right now is. Only thing with Ryan, you just never know. Like Ryan, he might change his mind the next minute. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody say, well, he want to fight Devin. Like he's adamant about, I'm gonna give you a rematch. You know, we can run it back, so on and so forth. Somebody have a little conversation with him. And it's like, no, we're gonna fight Adrian Broner. That might be a better. You know, say you never know what Ryan's gonna do, man. So
hey, that's Devin's next fight, Adrian Broner.
Yeah, he's not gonna get.
How you put that in the air? It's gonna happen.
He ain't gonna get my credit, man. Yeah. All right. So
Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
now let's go ahead. My bad. Yeah, my bad. But we're gonna go ahead and get to some serious discussions. I'm gonna go ahead and hit my thing on mute in a second. But you got Terrence Bud Crawford back to his old tricks. You understand what I'm saying? You got a guy, Madrimov, 10-0-1 with 7 KOs. He has one of the belts at 154. Bud has no problem negotiating a fight with this guy. He's all in, 10 toes down, ready to go ahead, take on this bum, per usual. What do you guys take if this fight is to take place? And we'll get to the Jermell Charlo's situation when it comes to this. But Bud wanting to take this fight in August. What do you guys thought on the matchup between Bud Crawford and Madrimov?
Well,
good fight. I mean, Jermell wanted to fight. Jermell wanted to fight. He tried to block the fight. So I don't know why he's a bum for Crawford, but he wasn't a bum for Jermell.
You said that's a good fight?
Yeah, I mean, Jermell wanted to fight. Jermell tried to take the fight. He tried to block the fight. So why is he a bum for Crawford, but he wasn't a bum for Jermell?
Yeah, well,
let me go on it, man.
I can answer that question. Yeah, I can answer that question. Because this fight is so shit. Same thing he's been doing all this time. anytime that it's somebody like this, he has no trouble negotiating, getting the fight done, signed, sealed, and delivered. Never a problem. Anytime it's somebody that's a threat, then it's like, I need this. I gotta have that. So those sucker stuff that he be doing. That's why
He beat Arrow's bitch.
sucker stuff, man. See, he's sitting up here waiting all this time. As soon as he see an opportune time to face somebody, that's when he jumps on it. You see how
Well, he
sloppy
tried to fight
this dude
Zoo. Wait a minute. He tried to fight
This dude
Zoo.
looks sloppy, man.
Hey,
He
Tim,
tried
Zoo
to fight
would have
Zoo.
won. If Zoo would have
He
won, he
tried
would
to
have
fight
won.
Zoo. That
He
fight
tried
fell
to
through.
fight. How do you
Then
know
he tried to
fight
enforce his
Zoo?
WBO to fight the winner of Zoo and Fundora. They didn't want to give him that. So he went after another title in another division.
And he can't fight Fedora because Fedora is going to be out for 6 months.
Yeah, Fedura's out till the end of the year. So is Zoo to heal that cut. You can't fight them. This guy got a belt. Why not fight him?
All right, so let me ask you this
Jamel
question.
don't want to fight.
Let me ask you this question, sir. Let me ask you a great question.
Mm-hmm.
You said Errol Spence basically bummed. You're basically saying that Danny Garcia, who holds 2 victories over Bud Crawford, you said in the amateurs, you say he's a bum, right?
17 years ago? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
How many years ago did Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney?
About 10 years ago. About 10 years ago.
So my point that I was making throughout this whole episode is the fact that some people just give other people trouble. Also, it's another guy who smoked blood in the amateur, which is Danish Cooper. Never want to fight him. He never want to fight that guy. No,
Okay.
Even when he had the WBA, though, he didn't want to smoke. And it was very difficult getting those guys to win. But all of a sudden, there's no problem when it comes to David Avenesian. Okay, he can go ahead and sign him to make the fight. But the point I'm trying to make is this. You said, bum. My main man Spence. Bum. Danny Garcia.
I didn't say
Basically,
that's not what I said.
They not the top moves. They basic. They do the same
They're
stuff.
basic, yes. They are basic
You
fighters.
said the most dynamic, who hasn't beaten anybody, who has the belt that they use for Bud Crawford. Why isn't that an option, sir? Why is it the most dynamic guy?
Boots Ennis? Boots Ennis, you talking about?
Yeah, why is the most dynamic guy not an option for him? Why is
You talking about Boots Ennis? You talking about Boots Ennis, right?
Why is that not an option?
Because Boots don't bring no money. Boots ain't never headlined a card, number one. Boots ain't never made more than $2 million, number two. Why would a guy that's about to turn 37 years old in September go from making $20 million plus fighting Errol to maybe $3-4 million fighting Boots?
Can I ask you a question?
Why would you do that? What sense does that make?
What sense does this make to assume that that's what he would make to face Boots? How do you know that?
Ain't nobody putting no money behind Boots, because if they would have put money behind Boots already. Ain't nobody ever put no money behind Boots. And they not going to.
See,
that's why Boots is fighting Cody Crowley.
Nutty. That's why this is nutty. So he will make more against Madrimov. Let me ask you this question. Let me ask one of these guys on here. Todd. You on here, sir?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Madrimov before the negotiations between him and Crawford?
I have not, but me and Chris were talking about it. Chris is very familiar with the guy, but I have not heard of him.
No. I'm talking about Todd Finney.
No, I have not heard of him.
Oh, that's all I'm saying, sir. And this goes up the alley of what he's been doing before. He gets dudes out of the woodwork.
I get it.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But anyway,
but I think he'll make. You don't think he'll make more money fighting Madrimov than he will fight Boots?
Yeah, he's doing the same thing.
Huh? You don't think he'll make more money fighting Madrimov with Turkey on the sheet behind it than fighting Boots?
Right here. Yeah,
I'm just asking a question, bro. I'm just asking a question. Yeah. He ain't gonna make more money fighting this guy than he will fighting Boots.
So now money is all that's what you're concerned about is money. Now when it comes
no, I'm not concerned about his money. He is, because that's what he told you on July 30th after the fight. I'm not fighting, I'm fighting for money now. I've done everything I could do in boxing. My legacy is set. Now it's about the bag. He told you that on the Breakfast Club in July of last year. So when he does what he says he's going to do, I don't understand why people have a problem with it. He told you what he was going to do.
He can fight any bum that he wants to. He can keep doing that. That's his business. I'm just saying.
He just beat the other bum on the 29th. He just beat the other bum on the 29th.
Okay. Sure.
That's what the guy said. The guy said, you ain't fought nobody.
He did.
Bud came back cool. I haven't fought nobody. Then I guess you would just be another nobody that I fought.
And that's the example that I gave when we keep bringing up what happened on July 29th. And I'm telling you, you keep saying and diminishing Errol Spence's resume. Well, he didn't fight this person. He didn't fight that person. The guys that he was facing, according to Ring Magazine, was like top 3, top 5 people in Ring Magazine in the welterweight division. So he's beating those guys. But like I told you, when people don't take the opportunity to understand a nuanced approach, the intricacies of something, and they just make blanket statements, it sounds ridiculous to me. Because yeah, you can do that. Well, everybody knows that he's talented. Nobody denies that. But at the same time, there is gamesmanship when you got somebody over here who's letting you face tough opposition after tough opposition. When I'm over here fighting these weak opponents, but every time I'm fighting these weak opponents, I'm preparing for you. That's no fault of his own. He was a smart man to do it, but to me, at the same time of being smart, it's still weak.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: all these killers that Errol Spence fought, these killers you fought. I'm just saying. No. You said they was killers. We talking about me. You said they was top 3, top 5. They was killers. That's what you said, right?
Did I say killers? If I did,
you said they was top 3, top 5, right?
According to Ring Magazine, does that mean?
Okay, we're gonna leave it at that. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Sir, I just asked you. You don't put words in my mouth.
No, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just want to ask a question.
Top 10 or top 5, top 3.
Fine.
They are killers. That means
fine.
Top 3.
Fine.
Top 5
I get it. Fine. I get it. Let me ask you a question. Which one of those guys that Errol Spence fought that you would have put your money on against Bud Crawford in the welterweight division? Which one?
See, there you go. See, what the question that you should ask is this: not the one guy that he faced, but the guys he faced on a consecutive basis. When he faced them, I'm not sure he would go through all of them, just like my man did.
Do we get odds on it?
If you're saying
no. That's what I'm asking you. That's the question I'm asking you. If he had fought the same guys, the same guys. Which one of those guys at the time Errol Spence fought them, you would have picked over Bud Crawford? Which one?
First and foremost, at the time when he faced Kell Brook, I would have picked Kell Brook over Bud Crawford.
Okay, that's fair.
Kell Brook coming off an orbital bone.
After getting destroyed by Triple G, you would have picked Kell Brook. Okay.
So yeah, you just said that he got destroyed by Triple G. I beg to differ.
Destroyed.
He was in that fight
until he got stopped and his orbital bone fractured, and he had to get surgery and come back 11 months later and fight Errol Spence. Okay, that's fine.
But you asked me a question. You don't like the answer to my question, so you keep.
I did ask you a question.
You keep fighting against my response to what it is I'm saying. So when he fought him, and then in addition to that, he beat Danny Garcia, who was whooping on Terrence Crawford, who Terrence Crawford really didn't want to face in the pro. He didn't want to face a Danish Schoolhouse in the pro. So I don't know.
Well, that's where you're wrong, sir. That's where you're wrong. Because Crawford, no, that's where you're wrong. Because Crawford and Top Rank sent Danny Garcia 3 contracts. So he turned down the first 2, and he said out of his own mouth the third time he didn't even open the envelope. He didn't want to fight Crawford. It's the other way around. They sent him 3 contracts, and Danny Garcia turned down all 3 of them.
Sir, you saying that he turned
That's documented. That's documented.
No. You're telling me that he turned down a contract of something
3 of them
wasn't worth even listening to. That's the way to duck somebody.
But you just said 5 minutes ago, don't worry about the money, right? Ain't that what you said?
I didn't say that.
That's what you said. That's what you just said.
See, now you're making
listen to the playback. That's what you said.
Sir. You're making a straw man argument.
No. What you said?
Let me listen to you, sir. On last ones at the bar, we like to have discussions, not just these frivolous arguments and try to be right and wrong. We try to get to the bottom of the truth of what it is that we're saying. and not tell people that they said something that they didn't say in order to try to win an argument.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's just not going to cut it. But anyway, moving on. We got Jamel Charlo. He throws a much aggressive ball for Jamal plans. He's going to exercise his ability to be a champion and reset so he can actually fight for the titles or the title. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Man, I thought he was trying to fight Bud. So this dude is going to try to get Madrimov, the same guy who only has 10 fights. You know what I'm saying? See, I would have a problem if Jamel did it because, you know, he's trying to get his belt back. You know, if he felt like they took it away from him. And number two, he's coming off an injury and a loss, and he claimed his hand was been injured and he wasn't 100%. He claimed that.
Okay.
So even if Bud would have fought Jamel Charlo, he fights after he whoop on Jamel Charlo. Oh, he had an injury and he came off a loss. His hand was messed up. He never was the same after he broke his hand. You know, stuff like that would be said. Not by you, Will. I'm not saying that.
No, I would listen. This is what I said, man. I said this a long time ago. I said, man, this right here is nutty. When he said that he was going to not stay at 154, but he was going to move up to fight Canelo, and then talking about going back to 154. That is a death wish for you to go ahead and go up there as muscular as you are, to come back, and after you're going to probably take a pounding against Canelo, you're going to take some punishment in that fight, and then you're going to come back at this age, at this stage of your career. I just thought it wasn't smart. Now, only thing that I can say in this situation, if he's planning on fighting Terrence Crawford in the future, it makes sense to go ahead and have at least a tune-up to get back acclimated to 154, to make sure that your weapons are all intact as far as the injuries that you had. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. I'll just say that Wilton, I agree with you there. Like, I would definitely love to see the fight because, you know, Crawford, you know, he looked after, you know, he beat Spence, he looked in the crowd, was talking to Jamel. So I definitely would love to see that fight. But, you know, with Jamel just fighting, losing to Canelo, he didn't show us anything in that Canelo fight. And like sometimes, like when these guys go up in weight and down in weight, it messes them up, especially trying to go back down. So I would love to see Mel take a tune up before getting in there with Crawford. But I mean, at the same time, Crawford is about to turn 37. So like, who knows how much longer he's going to be in the game. So I would love to see the fight, but I still do think that Mel should at least just take a tune up, especially after coming off the beating that he took and, you know, and moving back down in weight.
Chris G say Madrimov is a great fighter, accomplished amateur, and is a world champion. Yeah, sure, Chris G.
Well, I don't know if you heard, fellas, but the fight is signed for August 3rd in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But Crawford and Madrimov?
Yes.
Well, I gotta get out of here, guys. Man. Great discussion, man. I overstayed because I was like, I like listening to y'all, man. Want to stay, man? Shelton, stay cool, man. You know, it's all right. You know how we go. We know how we do. You know, like we always do all the time. We do, Will. Ty,
yes, sir.
Man,
yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
One love, baby.
Yeah.
What up, Ty? Yeah, 313 in the building, baby. I got you.
So much love, man. So
peace out. Much love to you. Like God said, and much love
to you. Stay safe, bro. Have a good week.
Even if you wish me the opposite, sooner or later.
I don't never do that. No, I don't never do that.
I'm just talking. I'm just rapping them bars, man. You know what I'm saying? We started the show off talking about the bars, Drake bars, and I'm just going ahead and go back to the glory days. But nah, peace, brother. Yeah. So they got David Morrell. He is going to be facing. I can't even pronounce this gentleman's name for the WBA regular. He always fighting for a regular belt, but you know he's going to be at 175. So 175 is going to be stacked. So that fight is going to take place in Houston in H-Time, and it looks like 175 weight division is going to be stacked. Man, you got another player in there, but it's another guy. I just still haven't seen him face any upper echelon fighter. He looks like the goods. You know, very talented, very quick, has skills to pay the bills. But I just want to see him, you know, rub shoulders against some of the more elite level fighters. I haven't had a chance to see him do that at 168. Maybe he'll get his chance at 175, but you know, he's young. So I'm sure the sky's the limit for David Morrell, but he just needs to step a level of his opposition up. What do you guys think about this right here?
I'm not familiar with the guy, so I can't really speak on it. But like I always said about David Morrell, he's strong. You know, he's got power. He's tall. So I can't really speak on it because I'm not really too familiar with the guy. But I like David Morrell. He's a good fighter. He just doesn't have a lot of experience under his belt. But I'll be looking forward to it.
I think it's good for Morrell. I think he's chasing Benavidez. Benavidez moved up, so he's moving up. You know what I'm saying? Now, they saying the word is Benavidez has the inside track if he beats Vosdick, which I don't think he will. But we'll see. I'm going to the fight. I'll get to see it firsthand. If he beats Vosdick, he has the inside track on the winner of Bivol Beterbiev. Mm-hmm. And it only makes sense for Morrell to move up because he's not going to get a Canelo fight. Morrell understands that. He's not going to get the fight. Canelo's never going to fight him. He could stay at 68, cutting weight, and fight the Caleb Plants of the world and the Jamal Charlos and whoever else is down there at 68, because we don't really know any of them guys down there anymore. They're not even relevant. Or move up to 75 where the competition is going to be. You got Benavidez, you got Bivol, you got Beterbiev, you got players, you got Vosdick, you got players up there at 175. So I think it's a good move from Morrell. I like it. Benavidez don't want to fight you at 68. He goes to 75, you follow him up there. Same thing I think that Ennis should do. You ain't really got no competition at 47. You want to fight Bud, move up to 54. Make him fight you. Beat them guys. Beat Virgil. Now he got to fight you.
Right. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I don't really know Morrell that well either. I've just seen a couple of clips of him. Looks like a powerful guy, but I don't know too much about him to speak on him either. So he looks exciting from what I've seen, but that's all I can really say.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Like he has skills. I want to see some step level opposition. Chris G said on there, tell me how I'm lying. I'm not saying about this. I wouldn't even say that. What I'm saying is I've just never heard of this guy. Maybe he could have been amateur. He could have been like a time. I haven't heard about this guy. And I consider myself a pretty knowledgeable boxing viewer when it comes to 154-pound weight class. I don't know this guy, is what I'm saying. You know, when I look at and I see the highlights of him, he looks very vulnerable to me. And so when this is, again, based on what I've experienced throughout the fighter that he will be facing on August 3rd, this coincides with what I've been seeing as far as who he's likely or willing to face. That's all I'm saying, sir. So when I look at his resume, not only do I not know him, I don't know any of these guys that he's beaten, sir. Even this guy, Michael Soro, who he had a draw against, a technical draw or whatever happened here, but I don't know. I don't know these guys, sir. That's all I'm saying. So pardon me, my ignorance of not looking at or trying to go to a different continent to see where this guy, when most of the smoke is over here, or at least if it's somebody that they are projecting to be somebody of note, you will see them on some type of fight card. Maybe a Tim Tszyu or somebody like that, you will see like, okay, I see him incrementally getting better, you know, so on and so forth. I don't know this dude, sir. And that's what I'm saying. So out of again, that coincides with what I see from his opponent that he's supposed to be facing on August 3rd. That's all I'm saying. Now, let's go ahead and get to, like I say, man, we don't argue. I just speak from where, you know, I don't know what to speak from your heart. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that.
So let me ask you this. If you do you think the WBO will side with Crawford and put that belt on the strip Fundora of that belt and put that belt up as well? Because that's what Crawford's angling for.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. Against that guy, he'll probably try to get everything he can out of that. So, and for me, they can all the bill for that fight. It's to me, it's pathetic. When I've seen guys like, and again, you can't go back, and things aren't the way they were. I'm just used to my number one pound for pound fighter having more kahunas. I'm used to my number one pound for pound fighter not caring who he fights and showing it because he get in the ring with those dudes and get busy. Not always angling for the best fight, okay, at the right time, at the most opportune time. I mean, I don't like when people move. But again, I think he's the best fighter in the world. I just want you to have some nuts. That's all. And I don't see that. I see when he get in the ring, like he's going to do what he got to do inside the ring. But a lot of times facing guys, it's not like when the iron's really hot and they supposed to get busy. That's all I see. Last thing is this: when it comes to these discussions, the last topic of the day, Luis Ortiz and Jared Anderson, they've been calling each other out on social media. Speaking of social, I think that Ortiz may be 2 years away from getting social media. You know what I'm saying? As old as he is. What do you think, man? Between a potential matchup.
It's a joke, bro. It's a joke. It's a joke. Luis Ortiz is about 51 years old, man. It's a joke.
He don't have a shot at all?
No.
What about you, Ty? You think that that's an okay matchup for Jared Anderson based on where he is?
Yeah, I saw it too. Luis Ortiz calling him out. I don't like it, man. I just feel like his time is up, man. His chin is bad at this point. He's been dropped against Wilder 2 times, and he's been dropped by Andy Ruiz, Charles Martin. So at this point in his career, man, his chin is bad and he's older. So I don't like the fight. I mean, if the fight happens and he wins, I'll be very, very happy for him. Like I love to see a story like that. You know what I mean? But I just think that Ortiz time is up. I mean, he already failed against Wilder 2 times, so, to get that title. So I mean, I'll watch it, but it's not a fight that I would really want to see like that. But I mean, if it happens, salute Ortiz for wanting it. Anderson, he's got a high work rate. They bringing it. So I think it's a bad fight for him. But like if he gets it, salute him for wanting it.
You don't think Uncle Elroy have a chance?
Say that again.
You don't think Uncle Elroy got a chance in this one? Don't he look like Uncle Elroy from next Friday?
Come on, Will. Let's go.
Yeah, my bad. What about you, Shane?
You call that elderly abuse, bro. You can't be doing no elderly abuse.
I gotta tell you, I hope it happens, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because, I'm a gambling man. I roll the dice, and with Pandora, with Ryan Garcia, I'm on the roll here. You know what I'm saying? And a puncher always has a chance. So I mean, I think I might get like 12-1 on this one. So I mean, I don't really think he has much of a shot, but he does have a puncher's chance. I mean, he got that. He got power. Power's the last thing to go.
Yeah, I didn't like how his last few fights, just like you say, high, his chin he doesn't have that punch resistance anymore. And I can see him getting tagged a lot by the other man. Because Anderson, he does have fast hands. But he seemed like he might be regressing a little bit. But this right here might be a fight where he can get his confidence back against a known name fighter. It'll be some rocky moments, or he can just get him out of there quickly because Ortiz starts off slow. Just like when Charles Martin was tapping that chin, and then he finally made the adjustment. But he always looked like he was vulnerable. Ruiz, he'll have some success against Ruiz. Ruiz will land one little shot. The next thing you know, he's on the ground. And so I just think that it's too much youth going against him when he fights against Jared Anderson. So, yeah. But on the flip side, he need a payday, man. His daughter has that ailment, and it's expensive. So, sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do in order to get what it is you're trying to get, So Shout out to Ortiz, man. That's the last topic of the day. We're gonna end on this. Tank Davis, he sent Ryan Garcia a tweet saying, you know, that he gonna come out there and party with him. And so you know, you guys have anything thoughts about that? I'll start because I felt like Tank always trying to get somebody to handle his business for him, so he didn't have to face Devin Haney. You know.
Yeah, I ain't really got too much to say, but I've been saying like the fight. It was a good fight last night. I think it took a lot of people by surprise. It was definitely an entertaining fight, and you know, salute to them. You know, for making the fight happen. You know, a lot of people. I heard a lot of people didn't want to buy tickets because they thought Ryan was probably going to pull out, but you know, it gave us an entertaining fight. So like, hats off to everybody. You know, that made the event happen.
Yeah, I think Davis needs to worry about the business he got to handle on the 22nd of June. Stop worrying about partying with Ryan Garcia. You better worry about the dude you got to fight.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not surprised because I mean, I'm sure he is ready to go party with him. I mean, he ain't even got to fight Devin now if he don't want to. But if a Tank Devin fight happens after this, mad respect for Tank. Just saying. Yeah, I got mad respect for him. If he ain't got to fight him and he fights him anyway, I mean, styles make fights. This is a different, you know, Ryan's speed is a big part of it. And he's swinging from the left, you know, he landing on a lot of left hooks and everything, you know, that's a different look. So I don't know. I'm happy with Ryan, and I'm sure Tank's very happy with Ryan. He's probably more happy with him than I am. Because like you said, he ain't got to fight him if he doesn't want to now. So.
Yeah, see, that's the only thing, man. Like, I look at it, it wouldn't sit well with me because now you're willing to fight him when he looked the way he looked yesterday. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to look like that against you because styles make fights. You're shorter. Ryan Garcia is taller, and you know he brings a set of different problems that is problematic for Devin, and he might be able to maneuver Tank better because Tank is smaller and maybe can keep the jab on him and keep him away and be able to stay out of the way of the left hook easier since he's fighting against a more shorter, compact fighter. That could be the case. It sounds like that's what was happening in some of those sessions that they had when Devin was successful against Tank. But anybody now that faces Devin, it's two things that you're going to try to do against him that he didn't have an answer for yesterday. And that was when Ryan jumped on him. He looked shaky. Obviously, you're going to try to get to that chin, you know, and see what's happening with that. So he's going to have his work cut out for him moving forward. But he might want to put on a couple extra pounds and not sink, you know, try to sink down to 104. That was quick, man, because he looked good against Prograis. But in this fight, he looked back like he did when he was fighting at 135, you know, struggling to make that weight. But we'll see, man. You know, that's the state of boxing where we are, you know, right now. We got a lot of, you know, things going on. You know, again, I just want the top guys to want to smoke with everybody. You know what I mean? Because I think a guy like Tank, he's going to get handsome reward against whoever he faces. You know, so it really doesn't matter. But from a historical standpoint, you just want the best guys to be wanting to smoke with the other best guys to be like what we were talking about initially with Drake and Kendrick Lamar, to see who's the number one guy, you know? But on that note, man, we can end right there. You guys have anything in closing that you'd like to say?
I'll just say maybe doing another interview this Saturday. Like I said, I don't like to mention any names because, you know, sometimes when it's finally time to do it, you know, I don't hear from the fighters sometimes. So I just say I'm working on another interview. So y'all just stay tuned for that. And well, thank you for inviting me on, man. Appreciate it.
Always, good brother. You know, I love that good conversation, man. And before I let you fellas finish, I just want to say thank you all for showing up and showing out. You know what I mean? That's the thing, man. We want different viewpoints. It's not to say anybody's right or anybody's wrong. I love when you have passionate people about whatever it is that we're discussing, you know, and you able to share out your thoughts. We're able to share our thoughts. That's what it's all about. You know what I mean? And shout out to you, Sheldon, you know, for some of those heated, you know, it's always an honor and pleasure, you know, to rock out with you folks.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you, brother. You're a knowledgeable brother, and you allow us to get our thoughts off, and I appreciate that.
Always.
We got coming up Saturday. Let's see what happens, and we'll be back Sunday to discuss it.
Yes, indeed. Hey, is the Clippers going on?
Oh, the Clippers, they play today, don't they? Or they play tomorrow?
I think they play today. I ain't know.
Yeah, I think they play today. I'm gonna check them out. I don't know if Kawhi's playing. You know, he's hurt as usual. So,
oh man,
without him, they probably losing 6.
Clip show
with him, because Dallas don't play no defense.
You know what they need to do with Kawhi? Send him the regular season. He always
they need
hurt.
They need to do. They need to go on because he stay hurt too much.
Yes, indeed, man.
They call Anthony Davis street clothes. We call Kawhi Leonard street clothes.
Sir, Shane, what we got, man?
I'm gonna get the Clippers.
I got you. Any other thing you want to share?
Just anything can happen in a fight. I mean, one of the worst lines I hear a lot is, "Oh, you don't know nothing about boxing if you pick somebody that everybody else thinks is gonna win." But I mean, there's a reason there's favorites, of course. But you know, anything can happen in a fight, and there's also a reason these guys are 3-3. Anything can happen. You know what I mean? Game 7. There's a lot of Game 7s out there that we could have other World Series champions in baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like anything can happen out there. It's one fight. Things change every fight. You know, I mean, too old just wasn't your day. You know, you can say what you want. Ryan came ready. Shout out to Ryan. I don't think it takes. To me, it doesn't take anything. It exposes some things about Devin, but it doesn't take anything that he did well away. You know, because everything he done well, you could clearly see already.
See that again? I'm gonna close it, but I do want to say this though, man. You can't, you know, hearken that point enough. Is the fact that when they say styles make fights, it's that's with anything. So we talked about the Mosleys and Forrest in the past who've had that history. Once they got in the ring, it's just something about Forrest that Mosley, it just he couldn't figure out that puzzle. But Shane Mosley probably could be more people than Vernon Forrest. But when they fight each other, that's just it's always going to be tough. Again, the Pacquiao and Marquez. Pacquiao can be way more people than Marquez at higher weights and stuff like that. But when them dudes fight each other, their body chemistry and everything, it just makes for a close match each and every time. I equate that also, and it's not just boxing. I remember listening recently to Kenny Smith, who played for the Houston Rockets, and they won 2 championships in a row in the early 90s. He's the one thing that he said, for us, we got lucky. He said, because those 2 playoffs that we won the championships, Seattle got upset and we never could beat Seattle. Right. And so he's like, but Seattle probably could beat all of the, like they're a better team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, or Houston might have been a better team, but just Seattle, if they had to play them, they probably would have got them out of there. And so it's just like that. And that's the reason why, you know, you give dudes credit for taking on tough challenges and different styles and things like that, because you never know what troubles somebody. Because somebody, you can easily avoid people. It's like, okay, that dude left, I don't even want to face no left-hander. But if you're willing to go ahead and get in and improve on the best against any style, I don't care what it is, I can figure it out, then that's who I go ahead and tip my hat to. You understand what I'm saying? So shout out to Devin, you know, for allowing the extra weight and all of that type of stuff, getting in there, you know, giving it his best. But Ryan Garcia was the better man last night, so you got to shout out to him too. Oh, the last thing I'm going to say, though, fellas, what do you think about this, though? You think that – now, Ryan, I think, is good for boxing. One thing I didn't like is this. I don't like for somebody who's that popular to not lead in the right manner. And the reason why I say that is because you're gonna have some people and kids thinking that I can act and conduct myself in that way and still, you know, that for one, it's not honorable. Two, he made it appear that he wasn't really trained. I'm drinking, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And people might emulate that, like I can do that and still be successful. I'm, you know, before I have this interview, I can have me get drunk and this or whatever. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on that, man? You think like when you in that eye of the public like that with that level of popularity that you should have a little bit more be more responsible in your behavior?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And hopefully he learns. He's young, so hopefully he'll learn from it. And yeah, the language. I mean, you proclaiming to be a Christian and everything. I'm not one of those big believers in you know, if you claim to be a Christian, you're supposed to do this and this. But there is a level of professionalism that we all know that you can show. You know, and I think he should show that a little bit more. Just a little bit more. I mean, I didn't like the drinking the beer thing because right afterwards he's like, "Oh, I tried my best." You didn't try your best. How can you tell us you tried your best and then you're also showing us you're drinking a beer, which is might be a prop, but still, it doesn't send a good message. You know?
Right. Exactly. Any of you fellas have any thoughts on that, or are you good?
Yeah, I'll just say, I didn't like any of it, man. Like from the beginning to the end, like I said, I mentioned before, Oscar De La Hoya said it was a tactic. If so, I don't know what the tactic was. I mean, maybe he tried to fool people. I mean, I don't know, but I didn't like the way that he acted from the beginning to the end. And like now that he got this big victory, I hope that we definitely see a new Ryan Garcia, you know, going forward.
Yeah. What about you, Sheldon? You got anything on that, or are you good?
Yeah, I didn't like all the shenanigans. I thought it was all garbage, but you know, Ryan's now he's in a position where he has to conduct himself in a more business-like manner because any fight he goes into after this, he's going to be the A side. He's going to be the draw. So he has to conduct himself more professionally. He can't keep going on with this drinking and smoking weed thing. And I do what I want. He can't keep doing that. He has to be a role model for kids, or people are going to stop dealing with him. He's going to start losing endorsements that he used to sell.
To be fair, he was the A side here.
Well, you know
financially. Like as the draw, he was the A side. As the draw, financially making money, all that, he was the bigger star here technically.
If he don't, then he's gonna have to start coming out to that Roy Jones. I smoke, I drink. I'm supposed to stop, but I can't. We'll see though, man. We're gonna go ahead and end there, fellas. I see my boy Sheldon over there in the bodega over there. You understand what I'm saying? So we're gonna go ahead and get little treats.
You know, have a good Sunday, fellas. I see y'all next week after these fights.
All right, peace out, fellas. Peace to you. Have a great week. All right.
All right,
bro.
Peace.